And I think if you're going to have someone with breeze, it should have been that kind of character, like a big sort of Mr. Hughes or Diesel or that sort of character.
Titus.
Titus. But
Sexy Titus.
hello and welcome back to the only wrestling podcast that exclusively rebooks, reviews and reimagines the worst of wrestling's past. We are Better Call Creative, and as ever I am joined to my left by one half of the Brothers of Destruction. It's Jack Chance.
Hello.
That's nice, isn't it? Bit of fanfare as she knew it.
Somebody was whistling.
Yeah,
we have our own pyro.
This doesn't date the podcast as to when this was recorded. I don't know what will. And the other half of the podcast, wearing his Rick Mail head, it's Sam Chance.
Hello. I was trying to think of somebody says in bottom.
Yeah. Well, I don't know whether that would it would be a bit un-PC maybe, or
I could do the. I don't know. Carry on.
We'll move on from that. I'm your host, Ben Chance. And today, it is that time of year again. Are you thankful? What are you thankful for?
What am I thankful for? Well, we recently beat QPR 1-0.
And I'm thankful because I ain't Ricky Root.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
We could have done that.
Yeah. That was the start.
That was
We
the
should have
start.
all
Come on.
recorded a Thanksgiving promo, really.
But we don't celebrate it over here.
No, but what we
I'm
do...
going to set fire to Indomie because for some reason we have to celebrate somebody who tried to kill Parliament, which a lot of people want to do at the minute.
I mean, we look down our noses. There's some traditions in America, and yet we set fire to a bloke who tried to kill our king. It's
Well, it was Parliament. What are you trying to blow up Parliament? And as I said, I think a lot of people want to do that at the minute.
Yeah. Welcome to Better Call Creative, reviewing history.
Better call politics.
But what we do celebrate in this country, and certainly on this podcast, what we do celebrate in this country, and especially on this podcast, is Survivor Series. And have you enjoyed checking out Survivor Series? Well, should I wait till the end to ask you that question? Is your favourite memory from the 25 years of Undertaker when he said we're going back to...
We'll go back.
Yeah,
I didn't run you over because I wasn't there, but if you want to say I did it, we'll go back. Thanks, Dave.
yeah, something like that.
Yeah. I wish they'd have put it in the package at the start, to be honest.
Well, he did briefly come up on the little package that they had in the coffin for his entrance.
Did it?
Well, he went through his different stages of evolution, and there was Biker.
Did they ever have Chewbacca? Chewbacca.
Well, it's Chewbacca too.
Yeah, it is Chewbacca
It
Taker,
is, yeah.
really. I can't remember that. But yes, we are going back to 2015, where... Well,
17 years. 7 years.
7 years ago, and yet it feels bloody ancient, doesn't it, some of this?
Yeah.
UK number 1, 2015, the girlies all love this guy. Do you know what I mean?
Justin Bieber.
Ollie Murs.
Justin Bieber with, sorry, is it too late now?
To say sorry.
I'm sorry for
This is what Vince said after the show.
Right.
And then he went, there's an egg.
Yeah.
Yes, and over in the US was Hello by, not
Adele.
Lionel Richie, Adele, yes, was the number 1.
Hello.
That was in America.
Mm-hmm.
And the one over here was the Yank.
Yeah, sorry for...
We had the Yank.
So we had the Yank and they had the Brit.
That's strange, isn't
That's
it? really?
confusing.
But he isn't a Yankee, he's a Canadian, so we kind of
Oh,
are
he is
friendly with
Canadian.
him. Yeah.
Well, not really.
No, not with him.
Not with Bieber.
Not with him, he's a twat.
There you go, leave that in. He's never going to sponsor us now. We're never going to have a Bieber sticker.
Oh, don't worry, he'll just spit at us.
Topping the box office was Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2, which I think is the last of the Hunger Games.
Yeah, I've seen that. I think
There's a new one coming out, a prequel to Hunger Games, so there you go.
No.
And I'm
What
actually
about
reading
books?
those.
Are they like 5 books?
They were books first, yes. So
Yeah.
well done. I thought you said
books.
I thought you said books first. So I was thinking,
No,
what's
was
she doing?
I don't know
Making
if the
your
books
mind
come
up.
first or then the films, you know.
No, yeah, the books came first.
Books first.
Game, Jack, you might have played it, or at least heard of it. Beyond Two Souls, PS2.
I've heard of it. I've got it free.
Have you?
On the PlayStation Network, yes.
Have you played it yet?
Nope.
No.
It's
Well,
in my library, ready to download in 12 years when I get round to it.
yes.
I thought you downloaded it, you just not played it.
No, it's in my library. I ain't played it.
Oh, right.
It's like most of the books in my library
Yeah.
at home. I've never read them. And the world of sport it was a contrasting. No, it wasn't actually. It was a good day for all because
Hooray.
West Bromwich Albion. Remember these days with a tear in my eye. West Bromwich Albion came from behind at the Hawthorns to beat Arsenal, who are or were
Jesus.
currently top of the league, with a James Morrison goal and an own goal from now Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta.
Oh,
Can't even remember it. We were there.
Foolish years, alright, they all blend.
The Pulish years.
No,
It was beautiful.
yes, there's 15, 16.
And Liverpool travelled to the Etihad and demolished Manchester City 4-1. So, I think that was probably...
That was actually the year. I think this was the year that Rodgers got sacked.
Yeah.
Around this time.
You know why? I know that because in about 3 weeks' time after this, and I might
We
find
lost to Everton,
something-
don't we?
No, you drew with West Bromwich Albion 2-2, and Klopp
Klopp did
sent him over to
Hooray!
celebrate
Yeah,
it.
I think it was after the Merseyside derby that they sacked him and Henry felt up Jamie
Oh, that was a
Carragher's
brilliant moment.
Yeah.
That should have been in my notes.
Big sack.
And today we have a new sponsor on the podcast, which is Pop Gear, the Kings of Character. Pop Gear is your one-stop shop for official merchandise from the latest and greatest brands from film and TV, music and more. And now added franchise mystery boxes from Fortnite to Frozen, from Minecraft to Minnie Mouse. Pop Gear provides 3 mystery tees and other merchandise per month for as little as £27. So head over now to popgear.com to subscribe for your mystery box and to purchase a wide range of t-shirts and merchandise now available. And we thank Pop Gear for providing us a mystery box, which Sam is excited to open now. You're looking forward to this, Sam?
Yes.
Right then, let's have a look.
The honour.
And I believe we've got 3 t-shirts, so we'll be able to each have one.
T-shirt.
Are you looking forward to it?
Now drum roll.
Drum roll on the box.
On the box. Oh, I'm
So-
nearly all tied
It's a big old box.
It is a big old box.
Oh, what we got then, Sam? First.
We have.
Oh, that's not even a
no,
tea, is it?
Ultimate one. Oh, it's a jumper. Actually.
Oh, that's
T-shirt.
nice.
The Christmas jumper.
Christmas jumper time.
With Ultimate Body and Screaming Face.
Yes, that's very
Very
good.
nice.
Oh, is it the same on the design on the back? Oh, no, design on the back. no, that looks
No
really
design
nice.
on the back, but very nice quality.
Oh, very good. Christmas jumper.
Right. Second,
Oh, I think that's.
is-
Are they all three? Are all three? Oh,
All
yeah, they
three,
look like
yes.
they're.
they are Christmas jumpers. Second
that's
one
cool.
is
Stone Cold.
You'll have to say this because I'm holding them.
You're posing for the transfer. Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Stone
Again,
Cold.
really nice T-shirt.
And the next one, the final one,
I think I got a feeling I know what that face is.
yes, it is. Howdy. Oh no, it ain't. The Fiend.
Oh,
The
yeah, we
Fiend
will.
Christmas jumper.
Is it the Fiend? It is.
Oh, very good. So
yes.
we have a bit of old school, a bit of attitude, and
a bit of now.
that's very, very good. Well,
there we go.
chuffed with that. You excited
Yes.
to be trying
Who's
on
getting
your
what?
Christmas jumper? We'll decide off camera
Yeah, we already
who
know
will
which
be,
one you
We will have a triple threat.
and
Win.
we'll no doubt take a photo of us in our jumpers to provide to Pop.
Merry Christmas.
But yes, we can say that they are very, very good quality. The
They
box
are.
is really nice, and head over to popgear.com now. Subscribe for your mystery box, and you'll get 3 t-shirts from your favourite franchise heading through the post now. Again, thank you, Pop Gear, for sponsoring Survivor Series 2015. So there you are. Yeah, a lot has changed since 2015. Not a lot changed around WWE for about 3 years, though, by the looks of things, because the booking is He's
Just
a bit old pants.
A few faces and heels changed, I think.
At least they're trying to make Survivor Series feel like a big show because they do the national anthem. I don't know why there was a
That
push
confused
for
me.
nationalism at this point.
Yeah.
Something happened. That they got a song.
That's what I was thinking.
We got him.
There was a threat from ISIS. I've read this on
okay.
thingy. There was a threat that there was going to be an ISIS attack. I believe it was ISIS.
And the Americans thought that if we kill them with patriotism, that's going to stop it.
Let's sing.
There was probably in the stadium, and once they heard that, they thought, right, let's see. Back up, boys.
Back
Put
up,
that
him
bomb
off.
away.
I'm pretty sure it was ISIS. Could have been another terrorist.
Yeah.
It was
Insert your own
I
territory
think
here.
because they finally
group.
got him. I
was
think it was
ISIS.
ISIS after that. The whole threat. And who
This
knows?
is becoming a history podcast. This.
Who knows? I mean, if we do another one in a couple of years, it might be a certain country, another country beginning to
Well, that could have been Putin outside Justin.
Yeah.
Oh, we know.
No, he's too busy with another thing, I think.
So
We'll
yes, Lillian Garcia opens the show singing the US national
I
anthem.
thought it had gone from the Fed at this point.
I think they brought her back just to do the singing.
Just to sing
and
it.
stuff.
It does by anybody sing. It's too over the top with it.
It does go on a bit.
Yeah, but there, shut up.
Over to Jack then for our as our resident pre-show man to give you a
The pre-show,
Yep.
obviously, it's full of video recaps and the kick-off panel, which is Renee, Booker T, Corey Graves, and Byron Saxton. But there is one Survivor Series tag team match, which is the heel team of The Miz, The Ascension, Stardust, and Bo Dallas versus Neville, the Dudley Boys, Titus O'Neil, and a mystery partner, which is the returning Goldust. So Goldust is part of the face team. So Stardust and Goldust start out, and immediately Stardust tags out to Victor of the Ascension. A snap power slam to Victor by Goldust, and Victor is out
straight away.
straight away.
They don't
Within,
even miss.
No, just a power slam, and that's it. Victor
Pay
out.
me.
Bye bye.
Big Vic. Straight
Victor.
away.
Connor and Titus O'Neil get in, and they start to trade blows. There's a scoop slam and a leg drop by Titus. Titus randomly gets a Devon chant started. He starts doing Devon, Devon, and the chant begins.
Just
They
for
do-
Devon.
Yeah, because he tags Devon in,
It just seems weird.
and then
though.
Bobber, and they get a weather
Yeah.
spot onto Connor.
Actually,
JBL
like that.
absolutely loves it. Get the tables, denied. Neville dives on all the heels outside, and then we have a break. After the break, Connor is on top of Bubba Ray Dudley, but there's a rock bottom by Bubba to Connor, and that is all she wrote for Connor.
Devon eliminates
No, Bubba.
Bubba eliminates with
Bubba
the
eliminates
rock bottom.
Connor with a rock bottom.
Amazing.
Devon and Stardust are in, and they isolate Devon a little bit with some quick tags, but Devon gets momentum back with a spine buster. Yes, onto the Miz. Stardust is caught off the top rope. There's a hot tag to Neville, who cleans house, Edgegood Stardust. Neville is then caught with the Bodog, which is Bo Dallas's finisher, and the skull crushing finale by the Miz for the elimination of Neville. Goldust then immediately gets in and rolls up the Miz to eliminate the Miz.
It's a bit of a strange thing for the Miz being in the pre-show. Eh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then
To be
he's
honest.
just immediately eliminated by Goldust. And then there's a break. And then after the break, Bo Dallas and Goldust are in, and then they isolate Goldust this time. And the crowd are dead now. They're fed up and bored.
What a start.
Code red by Goldust out of the corner onto Stardust. There's a hot tag to Titus O'Neil.
Jesus.
Cleans house. They do love him, to be fair. He gets the...
He was he was
What
in
was
the
he doing
tournament.
there? What was
He
he
was
doing?
getting pushed.
Was it?
He was getting pushed.
And they do, like, big him up on
Yeah.
commentary. Bloody
Well,
hell,
I
Titus
think
is
this was
great.
when he was Celebrity Dad of the Year and kissed his son on the lips during the show.
Everybody gets in a little bit. The stereo bionic elbows by Bubba Ray and Goldust onto the heels, because obviously Dusty is his father, not Bubba Ray, it's Goldust. And then Clash of the Titans onto Bo Dallas for the elimination of Bo Dallas. So Stardust is the last person left.
We're
And the
on
heel team against 4. They've eliminated Neville.
Neville. Yes, yeah.
For some
Poor
reason,
Neville. I'm going
got
to
eliminated.
AEW.
So Stardust then tries to leave as the usual heel trope, but he gets stopped, gets in the ring, gets 3D'd And you would think that Goldust, who had the big return, would get the pin, but now it's Devon. Devon pins Stardust.
Sorry, they put 4 sole survivors.
Yeah, they eliminated Neville.
They couldn't just give Neville a clean sweep.
Go give Miz a pin. And
No,
then eliminate by Goldust.
No way.
Well, I don't know why they leave everybody in, but they're for some reason they just eliminated Neville.
I was actually just going to ask, was Miz into, but I know who's into, so I know it ain't him. So what's the point then?
Quality, any good? What would you?
I mean, it started okay, and it's just a pre-show match. So, but the Miz feels a bit out of place in here, and the crowd really dies in the latter half because it does go 18 minutes, 20 minutes, long, so it's too long even for 5 eliminations.
Well, you said this is the longest match.
This is the longest match, so
is it?
Even on the main show,
the crowd die a bit near the end, but once they hit the 3D, obviously that gets the pop. I don't know why Devon's pinning Stardust. It should be Goldust if he's getting the return. But it was inoffensive, but it wasn't memorable. Let's put it that way.
Well, it was so unmemorable. We did a Stardust pay-per-view and chose not to watch it.
Well,
so.
it's a pre-show, yeah,
well, you didn't put it on the list.
And I chose not to watch it on the pay-per-view it happened on. So,
okay.
Jack did the Stardust.
Okay.
Well, there you have it then. So we do now head to the show, and Lillian Garcia is sticking 2 fingers up to Isis as she sings the US national anthem to a big old USA chant. We get the hype package, which highlights, and I think it's mainly the tag of this whole event, which is the 25 years of Taker, to his sad piano theme. Does everyone love his sad piano
I actually do like him, and as you said, I think when he retired, but after putting his hat and his coat and that in the ring, that should have been it. That's how he goes, drops down and dose him again.
I don't know. It tastes it. I don't know. It's sad.
You prefer TED Talk Taker?
Just give him his normal theme. That's good enough. It is the funeral.
Well,
it's true, I suppose. You can't get more depressing than
but it's more sad funeral mark.
Just keep adding layers of sadness onto it until everyone's just in floods of tears from one note.
Look, Taker, you're fat, you're old, and you can't go anymore. You should have gone in 2014.
I'm sure there's an irony somewhere of you calling Taker fat. I mean,
yes, but I've not been trying to wrestle at all.
No, that's very true. You haven't got in wrestling shape just
exactly.
yet. Yes, but they do a good job putting over Taker's career, and then we cut to the Wyatt family taking out Kane and Undertaker, hyping that match. So the Brothers of Destruction are back, and then we go into the WWE title tournament hype. Warriors by Imagine Dragons plays underneath, which I think is the song for the show itself, is it?
Is it Ultimate Warriors?
Yes,
that is the theme song of the show.
Yes, they used Imagine Dragons quite a lot, didn't they, around this time?
Yeah.
And we see the semi-finalists' path to Survivor Series, and Cole welcomes us as he handles duties tonight with JBL and Jerry the King Lawler.
Oh, this commentary team.
It's a hard listen sometimes.
Look, we did the Rumble 2015, so we've done one end to virtually.
I think they're a bit better tonight. I mean, but some of the stuff, it just
shit.
Sometimes they go off on tangents, and it starts a bit entertaining, and then you just think, why am I listening to your drivel? And then other times they go into complete and utter overdrive on telling you exactly every nuance of everything that's happening, to the point where you just think, oh, piss off. Roman heads out to booze, as we see in the brackets. Yeah.
I thought this was the one where you had that sign that said Roman is a wank pheasant. I actually said that to myself while he was coming down. I said, is this the Roman is a wank pheasant thing?
And we have full-blown Mexican-American or Mex-American Alberto Del Rio, who's out with Zeb Coulter on his little scooter man. I've never really liked that pairing. What did you think of the pairing, Jeff?
They don't really make sense. They don't really get together. I like Zeb and I liked Del Rio. Well, I like him as a wrestler and things like that. But I don't know whether it works. I don't really.
Do you think he needs a mouthpiece? Really,
Del Rio, not particularly.
I think Vince probably looks at him and thinks he's obviously foreign, so he can't talk, but he can talk.
He can talk. It was better with Ricardo as his personal ring announcer. That out the gimmick, and Zeb worked with swagger. That's how that worked. Even if he was on his scooter, which obviously he needed, I think, at that point. And I think
is that right?
I think it was because because of his health. But
because he kept jabbing forks into his head in Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico, he could have stopped doing that.
We get, we first get shown the Spanish announce team and then get an inset of a promo, mainly it's all from Zeb, who tells us that society wants somebody to elevate their lives, and that will be Alberto Del Rio.
I don't know. It's weird thinking about that in hindsight.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Society wants Alberto to elevate your life.
To pay.
Are you sure?
So to start off, Roman powers down Alberto early on, but Alberto corners Roman with kicks. Roman sacks him off and is dragged to the outside, where Alberto uses the railings and the ring post to get advantage. This is where, immediately, I'm already fed up of Michael Cole not taking a breath to tell you absolutely everything that has happened in his entire life. Just like, calm down, Cole, calm down. Roman recovers a little with some strong offense, but Alberto hits a step up Enziguri and uses the steel steps on the outside. Whilst he's doing that, we cut to Triple H in the back watching a big old screen. Silly that. Roman gets a few hope spots after eating a top rope right hand, but his comeback is slowed when he goes shoulder first into the ring post. Alberto does the Chris Hamrick bump, which is amazing, really. That I now know that is a bump. But yes, he goes arse first through the middle ropes. At least this is padded. Roman hits his drive-by drop kick to Alberto and stays in control with big clubbing clotheslines in the corner. We build for the Superman punch attempt, but the backstabber slows the not-so-tribal chief. Roman avoids a kick from Alberto to hit a Samoan drop. Alberto reverses a top rope setup and, he misses his double stomp by a mile. But he does, at the very least, sell his knee, acts as if he's hurt. It's all a ruse, though, and he kicks Roman on a straight kick. Superman punches hit, but Alberto blocks the spear attempt with another straight kick. Alberto goes for his armbar, but Roman powers it into a sit-out powerbomb for a near fall. Wily Roman lifts Alberto onto the ropes to break the second armbar attempt. Alberto then goes up high, misses a jumping nothing, and rolls into a Roman spear, who advances to the final. Jack, thoughts on the match?
It was alright. I was offended by how I ain't going to remember it.
Do you think you'll say that a lot?
Yeah. It was, it was, nothing was bad. Roman's obviously miles ahead now what he was then. And Del Rio's a good worker and a good heel foil for him. But it never felt like it got going for me. It just felt a bit flat.
So.
Unspectacular. That was one of my notes. It was sort of like a TV match.
Yeah.
And that happens a lot.
I think this whole event really didn't. There's just we'll get to the end anyway. I suppose I echo absolutely what you said. I actually thought it was pretty solid. I've never been a massive fan of Alberto, but when you do watch him back, especially in isolation, he's very solid. He doesn't do anything wrong. He's not really spectacular. I think maybe he just never developed his character. He was pretty much the same as he was at the start of his run.
Yeah, and that was quite good at the very beginning.
Yeah.
But then, as you say, it's just down from there. He was US champ already going into this.
Yeah, he's US champ.
Do you think as well, I know it's hard for us to comment on this because we'd have to get back into the mindset of 2015, but do you think anyone thought that Roman weren't going to get to the final? Did anyone think Alberto was
anybody thought that Roman wasn't going to win the whole tournament?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to give him some credit and think, maybe the other side of the
nobody thinks that the two mid-card champions are going to hold another belt.
So, wouldn't you have done better to put a wild card in there in the tournament to, I don't know, it's so formulaic.
It's difficult because you have to then look at the roster and is it deep enough to carry two semi-finals?
Well, what's again, it's all these questions I can ask at key points during it, but the biggest question I would say is, what are the feuds in this company at the moment? I don't think there's any really established feud.
Roman beat the Authority.
Beat Seth, but it's obviously the Authority.
The Authority.
Ryback.
Oh, no.
It was feuding with Kevin Owens. Dean Ambrose goes on to feud with Kevin Owens.
It just doesn't feel like at this point anything is happening.
No, there's no spectacular feud.
I mean, I know they were caught a bit unlucky because the champion that they had blew his knee out, but it just, I don't know, it just seems...
because he really was the main... He was carrying the company,
well,
really.
The issue is, you've only got to look back throughout the year, and every single pay-per-view really is part-time person comes in for a title match. Either Brock, either Sting, Kane had the one on the one before.
Yeah, because it was Kane before, and then the one before was when Seth fought, which
Sting and Cena.
Sting and Cena for both belts, or
so maybe you understand to a certain degree because they're a lot started.
And maybe then, we can all agree then that this was all caused by Sting. You know what I mean? It was his fault. Anyway, Dean Ambrose interrupts Roman's interview backstage.
You can tell from that silence that's a no.
I think one of the things they did okay in the first match is they silenced the boos a little bit and got Roman going a little bit. And they immediately kill him again just to remind you that his character is dog shit. Because this promo is awful. It's so stilted. It's basically, I love you, you're my best friend, and I hope that you win so we can have a fight. But he doesn't. He doesn't.
Roman, congratulations on defeating Alberto Del Rio and advancing to the finals in the WWE World Heavyweight Championship Tournament. Next, you get to find out who your final opponent will be when Dean...
Hey, that's my boy. That's him, man. Take out Del Rio, baby. That's what I do. Hey, you're going to do the same here in a minute. Once you take out Owens, it's me and you fighting for the championship. Just like it's supposed to be. Go get ready. That's right. Once he's done with Owens, it's best friends fighting for the very top of WWE Championship, JoJo. That's what it's all about.
Oh. Is that what it's gonna be? The best buddies fighting it out for the WWE title? See, here's the thing, Roman. It doesn't matter that you just made it to the finals. Because you've been close before, haven't you? At WrestleMania, you were this close to becoming champion, but Seth Rollins took it away from you. You remember. Then at Money in the Bank, you were this close to getting your hands on that briefcase, but Bray Wyatt stopped you. And again tonight, here you are, this close. But I'm the guy that's going to stop you. Yeah, laugh all you want, because that's what I do. I beat John Cena my first night here. You remember that, right? First chance I got, I became Intercontinental Champion. And once I beat your little buddy Dean, it's just me and you. And you're going to come this close again, but not close enough, because tonight, it's the Kevin Owens show, bud.
Roman, any comments to what Kevin Owens just said?
That's what KO does. Comes back here and he runs his mouth. But he's about to go out in that ring and get his ass whooped by Ambrose. Believe that. See you, JoJo.
He doesn't put that across very well, does he? He's a very stumbly, bumbly
he fumbled before he turned up Dean, and then Dean sort of shows, I am better on the mic than you, in just this 5 seconds of talking really nothing important. But it just highlights Roman's deficiencies at the moment.
Yeah, at this point, yeah. And then Kevin Owens comes and basically owns the pair of them because he's a complete and utter prick. They try. To me, it's almost like they're trying to make Roman look like a bit of a dorky, I love people. Well, you know what I mean? It's just, it's
dogs are cool.
Speaking about bad booking, though, here comes the lunatic fringe, Dean Ambrose. The opening of this with trading headlocks as Dean tries to ground Owens early on, but it's a corner charge. Ambrose leapfrogs over Kev and lays in a diving forearm. Dean now clotheslines Owens over the top and it's a springboard crossbody. I think what you talked about, actually, the one thing with Roman, sometimes you get reaction, but this crowd dies quickly in this match. He's dead by the time he does the springboard crossbody. Dean then hits a charge into a running bulldog, but when he goes up high, Owens uses the rope to crotch Ambrose on the top turnbuckle. And then Big Kev does his cannonball roll in the corner. We get more of Triple H watching on in the back, in the dark room.
At least he's actually looking directly at the screen, not like to the side.
Well, he runs the show, he knows.
Owens, no one watches TV like that.
Owens keeps the pace up with a big old senton splash and he locks in a sleeper hold. Ambrose survives a back suplex. As Owens down. Both men now get a little rest after a double clothesline. Ambrose teases Dirty Deeds and then gets into a bum fight with Owens using his jabs and punches. Owens just dumps him onto the top rope and then hits a gutbuster. Owens puts it all on the line as he goes up high for a moonsault but misses. And Ambrose hits his standing elbow drop. There's a lovely spot when they fight on the top. And Kev reverses the superplex attempt into his own twisting spike suplex, which is just amazing.
That is a good spot.
But Ambrose, you can literally see Ambrose watching the ref's hand. It doesn't help. But yeah, he kicks out
of that. I don't like that either. Cena does it.
Well, it's basically, even if I wanted to suspend my belief that he might win, I knew he was kicking out.
Yeah.
Kicks out.
Can you imagine somebody just watching it and then just not kicking out?
Yeah. The good thing about Kevin Owens, though, he completely sets himself aside as a heel because he constantly talks smack. I've always said it before.
And I think he's gonna.
When he's talking to Cole about he needs to stay down, it's brilliant. Ambrose lays in his first bounce back lariat for the middle rope, and after one successful suicide dive, he goes to the well one too many times and he's caught. He's viciously thrown onto the announce desk. Owens desperately tries to hit his pop-up powerbomb, but twice it's avoided. The second with a head scissors, and as Kevin Owens comes back for a clothesline, it's reversed into Dirty Deeds, and Ambrose covers for the win. So, thoughts on the match?
It was a fairly decent back and forth. I think he's better than the first match.
Yeah.
Because you got better workers. And I think Owens talking helped bring the match up a little bit more than the other one. So, out of the two semis, this is the better one.
I think it just proves that having invested so much time into the Shield, they've got to the point when the fans just don't care about Dean Ambrose. That's the biggest problem, I think.
Because that just worked him down too much.
It never felt like he had to rally much in the match.
The only time they really cared about him when he had Seth on the other side. Because really, Roman was the one that they really give a shit. Because after the breakup, what was the feud? No. Ambrose and Seth, even though Seth hit Roman with the chair.
I just think it looks, even though we know where he is now, so it's easy to say it in 2022, but I think it looks like he ain't enjoying himself, and when you know that, it makes that loss of connection. Yeah. I thought it was a solid enough match. Kevin Owens, you can tell, has got a lot of upside to him. Certainly as a heel.
And you can tell Triple H likes him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Vince must have looked at him and thought, Jesus Christ, this bloke's got money in him.
He's fat!
Although we then chose not to do anything about it. It was a solid match. I really enjoyed the last 5 or 10 minutes, but I would say that probably didn't do enough to get the fans really caring too much. Jack?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good match, good back and forth. They mesh well together. I think Kevin Owens has shown, in the first, out of these 4, he's the one who's the most developed, most connection with the crowd in terms of who he is. I know what he is more than the other 3 in terms of a character, in terms of him believing in his character and everything like that. The match itself's fine. I ain't got a problem with it. Probably should have opened the show because it's probably the better match.
I think that's
I understand why they start with Roman because it's Roman. And he's the star that they want to build.
Big dog.
He's at this point, but he is the one that they want to build. So, but it is pretty, even from when I was watching it back then, I knew it was going to be Ambrose versus Roman in the final, so it's pretty predictable that was going to happen.
And looking back at 2022, considering who both champs are of AEW and WWE, it's Roman and Ambrose.
That is very true. They are very, and you can see though. What I will say is, you can see how mismanaged they were at this time by where they are now. I know they're more seasoned performers, but they got both of them wrong massively. And
can you imagine if back then they had what they had now?
I do think there is always an element of fans sort of rebelling against what you're trying to tell, and wrestling fans, there's just so much opinions, and it can be a little bit toxic at times. But at the same time, it don't come out of nowhere. Like, if he was being booked well, they wouldn't care that he was the handpicked man. The biggest problem was the booking was tiresome.
Yeah, that just did it was too obvious. Like with The Rock, I mean, at first they rebelled against him, but then when they turned him heel and people booed him, it's like the New Day, which we'll see later.
I just think there's a lot.
They tried to push him too much.
I think there's a lot to be said about being who you are, because as much as people criticise Hogan and stuff like that, he is that cartoon sort of character.
I thought you meant he's a twat.
He is a twat.
You
know what I mean? So when you actually
Dusty Flair's play,
so when you try and push a character that maybe the Undertaker's the only one that. But even he's got that gothic. He has got that cowboy kind of thing.
Yeah, because he's the biker kind of thing.
Rejoice, because it's Ryback time.
Fucking hell.
He heads out and he's followed by the Lucha Bros and then the Usos, who aren't quite.
It's not.
The Lucha Dragons.
Lucha Dragons. I think I've called him the Lucha Bros all the way through this as well.
That's the wrong one.
So I'll have to change it.
Lucha Bros and the other show.
Yes, yeah.
I was thinking then you was right, but no, the Lucha House Party was the ones later, wasn't it?
Yeah.
With Calippo and Grand Metalik and Lindsay Dorado and Megazord.
But yes, they're not quite oozy enough, are they, at the moment?
No, not quite.
The New Day, they take over their entrance because Barrett and Sheamus, they're walking out to the New Day theme. The crowd, oh God, I mean, they love the New Day, and they are peak New Day at this point.
Well,
fresh,
them heel.
new.
Well,
they're supposed to be heel, but I can get. Even though they know. I'll tell you who definitely knows he ain't a heel. Big E. Because he does what he fucking wants.
See, this is when I got, and I just looked and I went, this is strange looking at this.
It's brilliant. So basically,
at the very beginning you can get it because they was pushing those preachers and like the smiley baby face, but I think they realised, let's just be really over the top and eventually they'll love us.
Well,
and that's what happened.
They love them at this point. I think you could have turned them at this event.
But then they come out as Serial the next WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like Xavier's new do.
This is my city. You guys know that, so please, when I'm talking, just quiet.
Wait a minute.
Before we get into this match, we want to celebrate two very important things.
First, I want you to take a second to look at the hair that stands upon this man's head. It has been laid to the heavens.
And second, we want to celebrate Thanksgiving. And we know it's a bit early, but look at us. We have so many things to be thankful for.
You do.
You're right. I mean, look at y'all and look at us. My whole team looks slick as hell.
Hey.
Oh, okay. But I mean, look at us though. You got Mr. Money in the Bank. You got the King of the Ring.
The King.
And you got the WWE World Tag Team Champions on the same team at the same time. I mean, look. We got more titles than the Atlanta Hawks, the Braves, and the Falcons combined.
That's not that many.
The Falcons lost again today, too. I even live here and I can't stand those teams. They lost again today.
Unlike the Lucha Booties, who will spend another Thanksgiving at the kids' table. Little tykes. That sounds good. Unlike the Usos, who have spent the majority of the last year at the doctor's office putting Hello Kitty Band-Aids on their boo-boos. And unlike Ryback, who never quite got what he wanted. Hair. Bald. He's bald.
He's not bald by choice. He can't grow hair on his head. It's hilarious.
He's bald. We have a special way of saying thanks.
That's right.
That's right, my brothers. Because tonight, we're going to get jiggy on these posers. Am I right? Jiggy? Posers?
Who said do that? No one said to do that. I think what he meant to say was because New Day rocks! New Day rocks! New Day rocks! New
That's a catchy tune.
New Day rocks!
New Day rocks!
So Woods tries his best to turn the crowd a little bit.
I do like his hair, though. I will say that.
Yeah, Big E fucks that. I'm going to talk about Woods' 50s doo-wop hairdo. Amazing.
His little Richard haircut.
Kofi does the big hype job for their...
How is Kofi heel? Seriously.
Well,
Kofi
he just isn't.
should never... I think even Vince was... I think that's what Kofi's even said. Vince they believe Kofi could be a heel. And I agree.
Yeah,
Kofi shouldn't be a heel, but somehow he was. I think he was like... He was only a heel by association.
Sometimes, though, it's just, it's just the opponent you
Always a
fight.
heel, but he's a face.
Yeah.
That's,
it's weird. There's some people, it's like...
People.
Yeah,
someone said...
Face or
someone else said that I watched recently. He just said all being face and heel should mean... it was Jake. He was talking about Braun. And he was, because he was on his podcast and he was saying, Braun's returned. And he said, and I was really annoyed because he smiled. And he says, someone needs to tell him the only thing that should matter to Braun as in terms of whether he's face or heel is it's a different set of people who you fight. Yeah. Just be who you are, because the moment you change to suit being a face, you ain't cool anymore. And then you have to go back to being a heel.
I think that's what people say about Roman.
Wavy people, then the fans will shit up.
Yeah. And Roman should be the same. If he ever turns face, because to be honest, Roman, you could put Roman against face, against fucking... he's fighting, probably as we speak, the biggest heel they probably have in the country.
But the dynamics are apparently different, when really people are going to be cheering,
And I think to a certain extent the New Day got that. It was almost like, we'll just be who we am, and if they'll hate us, they'll hate us. And actually they're probably going to love us, because Kofi's hype job of the cack the ring literally made me laugh out loud. Absolutely impossible to boo him. Fucking Big E. So Kofi tries to shit on the Atlanta teams, and then Big E mocks the Usos, the Lucha. What does he call it? The Lucha Boos or something.
Lucha Booties.
Lucha Booties.
Everybody booty.
And then he call it saying the Usos have got fucking Hello Kitty
Band-Aids on their injuries because they couldn't get out of the emergency room.
Ryback's bald head.
I'm pretty sure that's just Woods that's like an in-joke backstage between them.
And then Sheamus takes the mic. He wants to get jiggy with it. And this is where they're like,
and these posers and they're different. And it's like they was good. And Barrett was good.
Yeah, brilliant.
Shut up.
It's
Barrett was trying to be cool with them and finally got in. And then Sheamus says something stupid. He's like,
the issue with the only issue with that whole opening segment is how the show finishes it.
Yes.
That is the only issue.
Well, I think I've put that.
I think it would have been better if Sheamus had turned on him at some point during the match. I know they sort of tease it, but I think it would have been better, actually, more a heelish move if it was him and not the New Day who did it.
Yeah.
Because they are seen to be a bit cowardly in the way that they go, which actually makes you feel sympathetic for Sheamus. And you don't want to be sympathetic.
Which, considering the ending, is not what you want.
Yeah, which is the biggest problem I think that we have all the way through it. Anyway, it is a traditional Survivor Series match, and the only traditional Survivor Series match on the main show. Jimmy Uso and Woods start off. Xavier Woods on Jimmy not to mess up his hair, but he eats a big uppercut. Kofi feeds the faces as Sin Cara is launched by the Uso into a splash. Kofi survives a gut-wrench suplex and tags in Sheamus, and Lawler's Survivor Series past is brought up here with queasy,
cheesy, sleazy. Then we asked JBL, he goes, what was something you about? And JBL goes, well, I was on Team SmackDown. He goes, that was your favourite one? It was the biggest one I was in. And I thought, it could have been the pre-show of 96 that JBL was on, where he did get pinned and still got eliminated.
Nothing like banter, is there? Anyway.
I think I actually put fucking commentary.
Yeah.
Did my head in on this.
Well, they do sort of, again, I think they don't treat this match like it's important, and it's the Survivor Series match. I mean,
well, it's Vince saying he never liked Survivor Series, and yet he did it purely to get rid of his competition.
Well, there you go. He feeds Sin Cara a little, and now we get the setup spot for everyone, for basically everyone to do their dive on the outside as the heels conveniently line up. Flying Usos and roly-poly dragons.
Thank God there was no JBL comment. As soon as that happened, I thought of Jack thinking he's going to be disappointed. Because he thought if it was going to happen, it'd piss me off.
And then what I have dubbed the meat flop as Ryback falls from the top rope.
We got some falling meat mackle.
It's a different podcast.
The meat flop. Jay is crotched at by Crafty Barrett, but kicks out at a 2 to keep all men in the match. Barrett and Sheamus now team up a little as Jay plays the isolated heel. Barrett has a little jive to Xavier Woods.
Bit when they do the trombone and
when they tried to
he's gyrating. I thought that's amazing.
That is Barrett understood. He got it.
I mean,
he was the one that got rid of.
He's dead because he's dead because I'll tell you why he's dead.
Yeah.
Anyway. He hits a spinning Zaguri. He makes the tag to Jimmy, who rallies, and it's a nice Samoan drop. Barrett takes a punch on the apron to slow him down, and Woods donkey kicks Jimmy Uso. Barrett goes for the winds of change, but it's reversed into a super kick, and then Jimmy assists a rather impressive swanton from the top rope, and that is enough to beat your King of the Ring.
Yeah.
Sin Cara swanton off the top rope. I'm sorry.
It's just Survivor Series. It's just like any
move
that wouldn't end the match.
It just bugs me, these sort of things. When you've got 8 men in that tournament, I know admittedly it's down to 4, but Wade Barrett is your King of the Ring. If it ain't going to matter, don't do it at all. And it's Sin Cara, who's playing pretty much second fiddle in his tag team to Kalisto, who is obviously, more of a flavour of one.
The Ray that won.
He wins the US, doesn't he? Not long.
Yeah.
He's about 6 months away from being US.
Yes, because I always
said still Rio.
The Lucha Bros laying offense onto Kofi, hitting a lovely monkey 450 splash. Jimmy is sent into the heel corner and pays for it as Kofi and Woods hit their. Did they even have a name? It's like the Demolition Device double stomp finish. I don't know.
I don't think they ever named that. I know the main move was called the Midnight Hour, but I don't think they ever named the double stomp.
Unless they tried to do it because they was coming close to breaking Demolition's record.
Well, that's what I thought it was a play-off anyway. But anyway, that eliminates Jimmy Uso.
See, I got confused when he went out because I thought Jay Uso had gone, and I was saying to myself, I'd hate to see Jay go out, but then I just saw him appear outside the ring and get on the apron. I went, he never went out.
Yeah. Sin Cara shows his impressive floating bouncy dives. It's a forearm and a moonsault. Big E blind tags himself in and hits a huge suicide spear, which he manages to not break his neck on.
Please don't ever do that. I don't think he ever will, considering.
Well, not now, I don't think.
Not now.
Sheamus tags himself in, which builds to the heat between the team. As he hits a brogue kick to eliminate Sin Cara from the match. This gets an argument between him and Big E because Big E feels like he stole his pinfall. So he tags Big E back in, and this brings Rye back in for the first time, who hits a lariat and a clothesline to Big E. Yeah, he then tags in Jay, who surprisingly eliminates Big E with a big splash. Yeah, so the big splash, and Jay sends Big E out. The New Day aren't taking any more punishment.
He's injured.
They're helping Big E to the back, and basically, we never really announces them as out the match, but that's basically it. Sheamus is going it alone. He wants none of the match at first, but he does overpower Kalisto with a suplex, and then he hits his clubs on the middle rope. Kalisto hits a big enziguri, and Jay hits a top rope crossbody. Did you hear Jerry Lawler do the "I'm all out here by myself" in the weirdest voice you have ever heard? I'm out here by myself!
Oh yeah, the high-pitched little voice.
Oh, it's weird.
Yep. It's setting in now. I'm out here by myself.
Jay lays in his big Kishi bump onto Sheamus in the corner, but Sheamus gets a little help with a backbreaker. Jay tags in the big guy. The two powerhouses square up.
Please don't ever say that again.
Ryback hits a corner shoulder charge and a not-so Arn Anderson spinebuster. Sheamus survives, though, to get a 2 on a slam. The nice triple team spot at the end, basically, as Kalisto leaps into Sheamus. He locks in a head scissors. Sheamus blocks it, but Jay hits a super kick, and the head scissors then throws him into Ryback. Ryback hits the shell shock, and Sheamus is done. Loses to Ryback. I wonder whatever happened to that Sheamus guy. Jack, thoughts on that?
It's strange booking, really. I don't really understand New Day buggering off and Sheamus, especially where you would think by now they know where they're going. So him losing to Ryback, who feels like he's already had his push, devalues him a little bit. Ging Barrett feels devalued, and he felt like he had more upside to him than anybody else apart from the New Day.
Yep.
New Day kept a little bit strong by buggering off. The match itself was okay until I think the New Day left, and then the crowd just went, well, we ain't bothered about any of these.
Totally agree with you there, Matt.
Once the New Day left, it was like, we ain't bothered about Ryback and half of Lucha Dragons and Jey Uso.
And that's the problem, isn't it? Because at that point, I think the crowd thought, well, the only person we actually give a shit about in this match now is the heel, who's got to overcome the odds. And we obviously don't want him to overcome the odds, but we don't care about half of the Usos, half of the Lucha Dragons, and Ryback. You're completely right, because everything up to that was perfectly fine. I didn't mind the triple team spot at the end. It was nice that they worked in each,
everybody got a moment.
But at the same time, that was the only thing. For about 5 minutes, Sheamus should have just lost straight away. That should have just gone straight into the finish. Because it doesn't matter. It's not going to devalue Sheamus to lose 3-on-1. But all it does is it kills any momentum the match had. I really enjoyed it up until the New Day left. So...
It was the typical Survivor Series match. You get the quick eliminations from moves that wouldn't really win a match. But the New Day stuff, I get it, but at the same time I don't. Considering where Sheamus is later, it's just strange.
Well, you also have to consider where Sheamus is later and where he ends back up at Mania, because he's then leading his own group against the New Day.
So the stuff that happens later on is unnecessary.
Though it's like, we know that's where we want to go. We want to go because this is what they're building, Sheamus and
because they have the dissension.
But obviously we've also got to sort out the fact that he's got this briefcase. So we're going to do a swerve at the end for the sake of it. And how long does he hold the belt?
A month. Loses in December on a Raw
to Roman.
To Roman.
I thought he lost him on the TLC too.
He wins the TLC.
Oh, he wins the TLC.
And then Roman loses the Rumble. Is that the Rumble where
Triple H comes back? Oh, hang on, because it's TLC where he beats the shit out of Triple H. Do
you want to see how they try their very best to make women irrelevant and Ric Flair? Anyway.
I think Ric Flair can do that on his own.
Unbelievable. So this package is Charlotte's package against Paige is played. I don't mind the heel turn by Paige because it feels really natural. It's like just being condescending.
This wore that one with the certain quote.
Yeah.
Oh, it is this.
I think he said it is out because it is in this package. It's about reading the package about Reed Flair because that's the contract signing.
I didn't get it.
I thought it might have been later on.
It definitely weren't in what I
It
saw.
was in the package, but I think there's a weird sort of cut that you hear.
Well, that's horrible. But the thing is, Charlotte still feels, even with this package, I know them trying to get over the emotion and Ric Flair, but it kind
feels overexposed.
That Paige was in the right a little bit. That she was a bit condescending. So
well, it's the usual WWE trope of when they have the big superhero babyface, they do usually make them quite heelish.
Yeah, they are. Yeah,
it's just true. Back in the day with Hogan, nobody was, really none the wiser.
And to be honest, I didn't quite like how much this was about Ric Flair. I know she is a legacy wrestler, so she's got that lineage. So to a certain extent, it's hard to ignore her dad on the thing, but you don't necessarily need to build it into the package. The whole storyline felt like, you're only here because of your dad. Just reminds fans that, Ric Flair is here.
Ric Flair is alive.
The weird thing is that she isn't called Charlotte Flair. She's just called Charlotte at this point.
Is that right?
Yeah,
they had a few months where they couldn't decide whether they was going to have a name or not. But she still did all the woo and the robe and the music.
Unfortunately, though,
other than that,
even later on,
she's got his nose.
They still did it later on. Though, I think they did it with the Becky Lynch feud as well later, where Flair was there and he kissed her, and they've had to edit that out in network.
Well,
Flair, it's just like everything. Flair's always just been there. So, okay, I'll get it in NXT. Her dad, here we go, and then just leave her on her own.
I just don't know whether this particular feud needed that. There's certain feuds you can bring Flair into, but not there. Especially this early as well, because Charlotte was the first one that they sort of gave the mega push to out of the sort of Divas Revolution, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Early on, Charlotte grounds Paige, and we work our way onto the apron. Paige tosses Charlotte into the ring post and then brings her back inside to start stretching Charlotte, and she starts mocking the crowd. Charlotte slows her down, though, with a running sort of stunner. The figure eight attempt is rolled up for a 2 by Paige, but a big running boot by Charlotte. Paige reverses a second attempt with a boot of her own. Charlotte then does lock in the figure eight, but they sort of do a roly-poly to the outside. Again, Charlotte deals it up a bit because she doesn't release it when she's in the ropes.
Yeah.
Just look, I don't know whether it was purposeful, but it just seems a bit weird that a sort of healing it up. She then hits a nice electric chair drop onto the hardest part of the ring. She locks in a head scissors inside and starts space pounding Charlotte to show off her power. Paige manages to avoid a running shoulder charge from the corner and slams Charlotte down. Paige now locks in her own body scissors. There's a big running knee, but a second, and Paige is dumped head first into the turnbuckle and then neck breaker down from the middle rope. A big spear now from Charlotte and a float over face plant. Now, I was trying to find, does she have a name for that float over?
Natural selection.
That's it.
Is that what they
tried desperately to find what that was called. So natural selection is it. The women spill outside and build to the spot, which I think they hoped would look a bit more impressive than it does.
The barricade.
Yeah, as Charlotte spears Paige very safely from the guardrail. Basically rolls Paige back inside, locks in the figure eight. There's a tiny bit of fighting, but eventually Paige just taps and Charlotte retains. Sam, thoughts on?
It was what it was. I think them getting away from the divas.
A little bit, but it does seem weird.
Divas match.
It is a weird sort of thing where you have.
How long did they introduce Charlotte, Becky, and Sasha at this point?
2 months.
Just after SummerSlam, I think.
Like
Charlotte won the belt at Night of Champions, I think, which is September.
Because was it Nikki Bella?
Yeah, it was
the record, and then because there was the whole thing where she was fighting her, where she could have stopped Nikki from breaking AJ's record, but obviously they don't like AJ at this point. AJ Lee.
Oh.
But you could tell them starting to care about women at this point.
It's a weird thing to say about a company.
It is. And maybe a certain Khan should pay attention to it.
I think...
these are two of the best at the time.
Yeah.
To do it. I mean, Sasha...
You could probably argue without Paige being injured now, these would still be two of the best to do it. Yeah. Paige was a very solid worker, and at a time where she was dealing with, not a lot of good workers around her. Nah. And unfortunately, she sort of got injured at a time when there was a load of good workers was going to come.
And she could have been added into that
mix. She just had that stop over there. You just looked at her and you just thought, she's got it.
Yeah, absolutely. And
she had a good gimmick with her as well.
Yeah, totally. I'll tell you the thing that I hated about this. The ending didn't have any build. It was almost like we did that spot. It didn't really work, so they just said, well, we'll just go to the ending.
Yeah.
The crowd was never invested enough. But the biggest problem was the 50-50 booking of the whole match. Either you have a dominant Charlotte Flair or you have to build Charlotte from under, so Paige dominates the match and you try and get the crowd to care. Because they constantly do this 50-50. Well, she's done a body scissors, I'll do my head scissors. She does this big move, I'll do that boot. And all it did was create a situation. Bear in mind, the crowd are only just starting to get into sort of women's wrestling being taken serious. You just wouldn't know. There was no reason to worry about Charlotte, and there was no reason to hate Paige. So there was no heat at all in the match.
There was one other thing that I really hated, which I did a lot, was when they brought up this tweet from Becky. I don't know why I did that, but
it was a tweet.
It was a tweet. It happened from Becky Lynch.
Yeah,
I hated that, and I know they did that a lot, and I get it. But at the same time, I don't think they should ever use that because it just it makes Becky Lynch look like a
less
dog.
than yeah.
It's just like leave it. Don't bring it up. Just leave it.
Especially because Becky was just sort of fleshing her own character out at this point as well.
Well, that's why they was always saying they wanted her to bring her up.
Yeah, so I mean, I get it, but at the same time, I can understand why it would be just unnecessary. Again, you said it sounds like it was a lot more personal than it felt as well. You know what I mean? When you talk about that Reed thing. So,
that's my issue with the match. My issue with the match is, Paige turns heel. She's got nuclear heel by ringing up a dead sibling. So, there you go. I am now bad bitch.
Yeah.
And in this match, it just became a wrestling match instead of Charlotte should be all piss and vinegar. I'm so fucking emotional with it as the face. And Paige should be the one, I've got it right where I want her. I'm cunning and I'm going to either win the belt through your emotions getting the better of you, or I'm going to get you, you're going to get DQ'd and you're going to show the true Charlotte Flair side. When you just do a bog standard 50-50 match where Charlotte just wins, I don't think it helps.
Drop down tackle,
you've cooled Paige's fire substantially with the way that this match has been booked.
I agree with that completely. The kickoff panel then of Corey, Booker, and Byron get some love as they.
Why does Booker always look at this? Why is he on his side?
He does. Yeah.
Is this a gimmick? He's got that. He's just taking the
watching the telly.
Maybe he just feels that his right side is his best side, so he wants to make sure it's on camera.
Well, he's a king, and maybe his coin was.
I've got a look.
I wish that the Royal Mint just got Charles's face wrong and it was Booker too.
Dean, congratulations on defeating Kevin Owens. However, that means later on tonight you have to face your brother, Roman Reigns, for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship.
We've known this day was coming since the beginning. Since the first day we bulldozed into this industry. 3 years ago at Survivor Series, I've known I was eventually going to be standing across the ring from Roman Reigns. Well, some days we're in the entertainment business, and some days we're in the fight business, and my goal is the same as everybody else's goal. I want to become WWE champion. So tonight, I'm going to fight my brother. No regrets. I love Roman Reigns. I give him the shirt off my back, but all due respect, Roman Reigns ain't going to pay my bills, so I'm going to fight him. Congrats, my brother. Normally I'd give you some love, give you a big old hug. But tonight it ain't about love and hugs. It's about a championship fight. I already know you're gonna bring it, and so am I. I'll see you out there.
Dean Ambrose says that they're in the fight business and he loves Roman Reigns.
We got
fighting.
Is he Tanker 2001?
Even that, he did desperately try and keep his cool edge by saying that. You know, sometimes you're in the entertainment business, sometimes you're in the fight business, which was a nice line. But then when he's like, you know, he's my brother, I hate this brother shit. I hate this sort of, you're my brother, maybe I'll fight you. Roman comes up. We've already done this spot, but basically tells him to bring it.
We've already done it.
Yeah. Sure. Where is the heat? Do you feel that there's no real tension? So
no, there's no, and you would think that this is the time to insert a Triple H or something like that to create the
exactly what
maybe there's a bit of tension, and if you win the belt.
Well, wouldn't you have got a situation where maybe both of them thought that the other was going to go with Triple H or something like that, just to plant a seed to create some sort of...
If it's just mano-a-mano handshake, may the best man win, it's like, well, I don't really give a shit.
Yeah, it's like, we know that it's going to be Roman then, don't we? Thanks for that.
It was bad to me.
Summer Rae has found...
Thanks for that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Summer Rae has found a real man, and it's Tyler Breeze. And he's debuted relatively recently.
Yeah, 2 weeks before, I think.
He'd been in NXT for a while, I think.
And he attacks Dolphin.
Dolphin?
He attacks the Dolphin because he's a bastard. He attacks Dolph with his selfie stick, and Dolph heads out, and his tweet is basically shown saying, he's a bit like me, which, okay, thanks for that, Dolph.
Thanks, Dolph.
It's a mirror match,
So, yeah, it's basically a sort of... We want to get a few of these on the card. Not quite sure about this. Yeah, it feels like this should have been a bit of sort of a passing of the torch match, but there's no heat in it. Dolph drop kicks Tyler down early on. Dolph then clotheslines him over the top rope. Summy is used as a shield. She screams like a fucking horror movie. And inside, Dolph drags Tyler into the ring as he claws at the ring skirt, and then he uses this to drag Dolph into the middle rope. It's a nice bump. A single leg crab by Tyler, but he eats a drop kick on his jumping nothing from the top. Rallying straight away, so it feels like we're already building to the finish. But there's a big splash in the corner and a reverse neck breaker. Nice standing elbow drop, but the Faymaster is avoided. Roll up for a 2, and then Breeze sits down in the corner on a schoolboy, but the ref catches him being a heel, holding the middle rope for leverage. Dolph rolls through a powerbomb attempt now to get a 2 on a schoolboy, and now we just basically go to near fall city as each of them get near falls. Tyler being face planted down. Dolph attempts a super kick, but Tyler blocks it and goes for the unprettier. Is this a new finishing move that he's sort of...
Yeah, he was doing like the spinning wheel kick, which was the beauty shot, I think. But, obviously he's got a new finisher now that he's in the main big time.
Dolph rolls through, though, for a 2, and again, Breeze dodges a super kick. Breeze battles Dolph on the apron, kicks him in the shin, and back inside, Breeze hits the unprettier for a 3, and a fairly clean win over Dolph. Jack, what's on that?
It felt like Dolph was pissed off through the whole match with the ref, I think. He had a lot of jaw-jacking with him, if you're looking out for it. I don't think it really helps. It is a win over Dolph, former world champ, but Dolph, he goes from bottom of the card to top of the card to bottom of the card whenever you need to. So I don't really think it's a huge win for Breeze, which says a lot about where Dolph was at the time.
Yeah.
I think Breeze is dead from the moment he wins the match and he stands up and Summer Rae's by him and they shoot the camera and Summer Rae's about 3 inches taller than him. Yep. And I think Vince goes, well, fuck that.
But don't you think that's his own stupid doing, though? Because do you think that Tyler Breeze?
I don't think that the pairing works.
Well, exactly. No. I know that you've got you've got the heart back to Shawn Michaels with Sherry, but there was a reason that he split up with Sherry pretty quick. Because it doesn't quite work. He's better with a sort of big bodyguard with him. And I think if you're going to have someone with Breeze, it should have been that kind of character, like a big sort of Mr. Hughes or Diesel or that sort of character.
Titus.
Sexy Titus. But having Summer Rae, I think instantly, why would she find. I don't get it. It doesn't really work.
Well,
as a dynamic.
and obviously split up with Dolph. I'm assuming is what the lead into this one.
Yeah.
So I've got a bloke who looks a bit like you, and this is him.
Which makes him the third wheel in this storyline between Summer Rae and Dolph.
The feud is Dolph v Summer Rae, and Tyler Breeze is here to wrestle the matches.
The match was fine because both of them can work. It was good, but I think to myself, this will always stand the test of time as a match on one of the big 4 pay-per-views, and it's so not needed on this pay-per-view.
No, it is just it's a mirror match basically. It's like we've got the new and improved Dolph, but he had to cut his hair and dye it. But he's got his own version of Vicky Guerrero, and it was short. It's the shortest match on the show.
I think what you've got to do
6 minutes.
But the one note I did make, and I can't vaguely remember, but I know it pissed me off at the time. I have put fuck the commentators because I think at this point I was getting really overbearing for this.
Well, I think this was a case of Vince saying you must tell everyone who Tyler Breeze is and get over this. And because I think he recognised there wasn't a lot of heat, it doesn't really help.
Yeah, it was just, I think this was the overbearing.
I think Jack said it before about people working bigger than they are, and I think what Tyler Breeze needed is his character to embellish in such a way that his shortcomings in terms of size didn't matter. So Gorgeous George was the same. Gorgeous George was a relatively small man, but because he was such a big over-the-top character, he felt like he could fight the men.
Finley's the one where you look at him and you go, that tall, but he works big.
He works big. Yeah. And I think because Tyler Breeze has got such a unique gimmick in that roster, i.e. he's the love himself, in the modern twist.
Yeah,
he
with
is
the selfies.
Yeah. But because they just shove him in a match and they haven't really given you time to build, on the main roster anyway, proper story where you understand his motivation and reason to hate Dolph or fight Dolph. Yeah. Then all of a sudden he just stands up against Dolph and you just think, well, actually, I kind of prefer Dolph. Whereas, you know what I mean?
Whereas what's weird is the one match Jushin Liger had in WWE was against Tyler Breeze. Because in NXT, they did make the thing with Tyler Breeze. As you say, he works big. He works like, I'm the best. I love myself. I can do this. And Rhea went, well, okay, see how you do. If you're that good, let's see how you do against someone who is probably one of the best wrestlers ever.
Well, exactly. There's just better ways of using Tyler Breeze, but I think if he ain't quite ready in terms of where we are as an audience, knowing who his character is, don't have him in this spot. It's just too
Tyler
big
Breeze could have been, if he would have been Rick Martel back in the day, he would have been that model gimmick. It's just they used him wrong, but it's the same gimmick but updated for how it is now.
I just think you could have just shoved him into a Survivor Series match and let him get over within it.
Maybe have him survive.
Yeah, or having this as a Survivor without having to go, by the way, this is him against Dolph with no understanding. You're going to look at it and think, I'd rather have Dolph than... And it's not, and they immediately lose him. And I think that was the problem with a lot of NXT people. Everyone who got called up to NXT. Well, I think they all thought they were going to be like Kevin Owens was when he had his first match
against Cena.
You don't need to build them like that. Sometimes you've got to reintroduce them into it. A bit cold though, but don't need to necessarily.
But don't change stuff. That's the thing. I think that's what Vince tried to do: is change things. Because you're
like shoving Summer Rae with Tyler Breeze.
Yeah, exactly. So you haven't. Yes, people come up from NXT. Yes, you get it that you've got a bigger audience, so not everybody's going to see him. But don't forget, you have got them people that have seen him that will watch both products. So at the same time, you've got to start with that and build it round. Right. Don't just go, oh, he's completely new, because then you're pissing off that little bit of the audience. Why not just build him from the ground up with the little bit?
I just think you just embellish his character, especially there's difference between him and Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is massively believable before he speaks a word. You knew what Kevin Owens was in NXT the day that he debuted. You don't need to do with Tyler Breeze, because he is much smaller. He is reliant on a bigger gimmick. Like Jack says, he's got to work bigger. And the only way you're going to believe him working bigger is if you've got a really strong gimmick. That's what Finley did really well as well. Like, you know what I mean? I am the arse kicking Irishman. Well, we believe that you'll beat the living shit out of anyone, then, won't we, mate? I mean, and you carry
and he actually could.
It's just with the likes of Tyler Breeze, because he's got such a strong character, you can do the old trope of just playing vignettes for 4 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I would.
They didn't do that, did they? I think that's a lost art in some aspects with WWE. So hopefully, Papa
and that lasted for about 7 months.
For 25 years, Undertaker, you have reigned over the WWE. Holy cow! An empire built and molded by darkness.
That's gotta be Kane!
For 25 years, you have instilled fear.
Brothers of Destruction!
Standing before you is the true army of darkness.
But I say that 25 years is long enough. I say that it is time for a new army of darkness to emerge. My army. You have all bear witness to me and my brothers carrying out the rotting carcass of the Undertaker. Can you feel my resurrection? Once you've had a taste of that power, it consumes you. There is no turning back. I have successfully harvested the souls of the Undertaker and Kane. And that power is now surging through my veins. That power has become inconceivable, and it all belongs to me. I summon the thunder. I summon the lightning. I summon the forces of darkness, for I am Bray Wyatt. And it is well within my power to take your world and to burn it straight to hell.
Oh my God! The dead man and his brother have risen! Can't kill what won't die.
Vengeance awaits the Wyatt family.
The Brothers of Destruction are no longer Fate's master. I am Bray Wyatt.
No man can tame the power of the dark side.
I am the face of fear.
The Reaper is waiting to drag you through the fires of hell.
25 years is long enough. And after Survivor Series, time for a new army of darkness to emerge. You'll just be remembered as the brothers that I destroyed.
We get the build package now for the Brothers of Destruction versus the Wyatts. It is very good. Bray has taken control over the forces of darkness.
It's very good. I think this might have been where they lost a bit of sight of the cult leader Bray, where they made him.
Well, I think exactly. It's just one of them where he kind of fits in that Taker mold. So all of a sudden
we need the younger Taker.
But at the same time, he somehow manages to get away with it.
Yeah.
And it is quite cool. The only problem I would say is that I never felt at all watching this package that the Undertaker and Kane were under any real threat.
They ain't going to lose up 25 years, are they?
No. Well, we'll get there.
Well, I don't know why Kane got added to it. He was all like 25 years of Taker. Oh, Kane's here.
You could have played off the fact that they took out Kane quite early on in their run, didn't they? Way back when.
Yeah, well, that's how the debut.
So
then it was the Ring of Fire with the carpet.
There is a history at the very least between them. So Rowan is sent in to sort him out straight away. Big boot, double choke slam. We won't be seeing him again. That's him sorted.
Wait till Mania when you have that match with The Rock.
Poor Rowan.
Poor Rowan.
We settle down and Harper is clotheslined out the corner by Kane. Kane hits a side slam and a seated drop kick. Taker goes for old school on Harper, but he stops him hitting a big uppercut. I just get the impression Taker would absolutely love fighting Luke Harper.
Yeah.
You've gotta love him. I mean, he looks Bone Street Crew fucking literally is Henry Godwin, isn't he, really?
Well, initially this should have been Braun, because I think that's what that was building.
Fuck that shit, he's the worker. I mean, Christ me.
But
if this match had Braun...
They were originally Braun was going to be in it, but they wanted to build to take a Braun at WrestleMania 32, don't they?
Which I'm absolutely fine with as well. But
then we got to have Shane.
Look at this match. Look at it's not believable. It just doesn't make any sense. Taker go. We've done that. Bray gets in, but he eats a big jumping clothesline. Harper takes old school now, and Taker hits his guillotine leg drop on the apron. Kane no-sells a kick from Harper, but he's clotheslined to the outside. The numbers game takes Kane down as he's tossed over the announce desk by big old Braun. Bray gets aggressive on the laid-out Kane and sends him back inside as Taker and Braun sort of jaw. I think Taker goes, I'll sort you out. And we can fight.
We're going to fight.
We're going to fight. Bray really glances Kane on his diving crossbody and then goes for Sister Abigail. Kane clutches the throat of Bray, who does a nice sell. Kicks away the choke slam and ducks his head and he's DDT'd. Hot tag time, but there is zero reaction as Taker gets the tag. He lays in punches, a charge. It's his own DDT on Harper. Big leg drop and then a tease of a double choke slam on both heels. Braun is up to distract and Wyatt and Harper clothesline Taker to the outside. He lands feet first and grabs the throat of Braun and with the aid of Kane puts Braun through the table, which instantly kills the planned match between Taker and Braun. 2-on-2 now as Taker walks into a super kick and a Sister Abigail. At the very least, Taker doesn't kick out. He has to be saved by Kane, so they're giving, they're very, very giving of Bray Wyatt. They give him that. But yeah, we at least get a kind of visual win for the heels. Kane eats a big lariat from Harper. And the nice spot where Wyatt's doing his spider pose, Kane and Taker sit up at the same time. I love the
fact that Wyatt's doing his spider walk, and obviously Taker sits up to look at him, so Kane sits up to look at Harper. But Harper ain't got to walk, so he sort of just lets the crawl.
He's just on his knees.
Crawl to it. So just like,
amazing.
Strange.
Kane does take a little longer to sit up as well because of his girthy body. The stereo choke slams. Fair play to Harper for taking that tombstone. And it's the 25th birthday of Undertaker, so he celebrates in style with a very predictable win over the Wyatt family. Jack?
I mean, it's Taker and Kane in 2015. Okay, I can suspend my disbelief. I can, it's the nostalgia match. I don't think it helps Wyatt's family at all. I think they're a bit jobbed, if I'm honest with you. I think they're a lot for him, and AA won in 50-50 all the time, but this is a strong character who's taken your lightning and your fire and your, spooty pyro or whatever, but then he's just been destroyed by even your big bloody new monster is dead as well on the outside. So it felt like they really, really killed the Wyatt family.
I was dead and can't recover after this.
And I don't know whether they could have done it in a better way. I ain't bothered about Kane and Taker winning because this is 25 years, okay, whatever. And I ain't bothered about the match, but I just think the way they did it just really fucked them. Yeah. I mean, in a month's time, they're fighting Tommy Dreamer.
Christ. I understand. I understand the reason why they were the ones that were put up against him, because they have got that big threat and that's it. But the truth of the matter is, you continuously water down the Wyatts with loss after loss after loss, then they become nothing.
This is the problem.
And the biggest problem, I think, it's looking at this whole roster, like you said, they've become so reliant on the celebrities.
Yeah.
You can work celebrities and your part-timers quite well if you do it right. But if you focus on them on every pay-per-view and in every main segment, and then are reluctant to have them put over your stars, then what you have is a complete everyone at that level. So the Wyatts completely stand out because they're a group of big old bastards and they've got this sort of thing. So what you have to do for me is you have to protect them and make them really, really strong, i.e. what they're doing with the fucking Roman bloodline at the moment.
Yeah.
Because you just have them win every week, that's fucking fine, because that's what they should
problem
be.
having a star, is it?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Heaven forbid we might have someone who's over. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
But then that's how you always beat smashed over.
And it's all, I get what you're saying about, okay, we want Taker to win and stuff, but if you're going to have him win, let him close the show. If that's the sort of feel-good moment, you just want to have the fucking happy ending WrestleMania moment. But they didn't. They just shoved it sort of second last on the card. And by the time that Dean walks out in about 2 seconds, because he just goes straight into the main event.
I think there's bits cut out.
Yeah. But it just feels like, it's like we've moved on. We've got that done.
He's had his year.
Yeah, it's like, get over it. It's just stupid.
See you at Mania.
Crap booking. And then, like I say, the way that they do Mania, you forget it. Absolutely forget it.
Ricky Ortiz was a clown because of that.
That's true. That is true. Jack?
Yeah, hello.
Oh, sorry. Sam?
Right, okay, this is the thing where I always say it, and I keep saying it to Jack. This is what they should have done. Because they had the...
Well, wait. If you're going to have it in your rebooking, wait till then. Don't give it away now.
But there is slight ways that they could have changed it to make it better.
Yes.
I do agree they should have closed out the show, because you built the show around 25 years of Taker.
Poster boy?
Have him finish it. It's out like the 30 years.
Just put the belt on him.
2020.
I would have probably half thought of that as well.
Just have him heel Taker.
I
25
think
years.
at the time, I'm pretty sure at the
Triple H
time
has
there
got
was
the
that
urn.
thought that he would be in the tournament or just somehow get in the tournament and win it.
Who cares though? I mean, fucking hell, Giant Baba was the champion in fucking All Japan. No one's going to go EA fucking believable. Even though
he was NWA world champion.
Yeah, even though really when you watch him, he's so unbelievable as champion.
Dare you?
You know what I mean? I think once you get to the point where you just embrace the madness of wrestling and go, oh well, he's whatever.
He is a zombie.
Yeah.
It's not a sport, and it's
not Baba Taker.
kind of entertainment.
It might be there.
It's just madness. It's not a reality.
No.
But anyway, there is ways of changing it. Again, we'll come to that tomorrow rebooking. But it was basically like an extended squash match. Really.
They don't get a lot of offense, really,
Well,
did they?
And it really hurt. You're basically your top heel stable.
I just don't understand why they didn't do more, especially because Braun was such a relatively fresh character within the Wyatts, that they didn't do more to really put over Braun. Even if I don't particularly agree with it. Bray Wyatt to me is, again, he's one who works big. Like, even though he's fairly big, but he works big. But at the same time, I don't quite get why they never got right behind that character. But I can understand, if Vince has got an MO, just book that bastard. Look at the size of him. Let him throw everyone all over the place.
This is what I'm
just,
saying.
you know what I mean? It's like...
This is what, this Bray is the best Bray, the cult leader. But he works big by not working, by having big people work for him.
Which he didn't even have to be in this match,
I mean, in reality, you think of what a cult leader is, really. Cult leader don't actually do anything. They get minions to do it for him.
Yeah.
So really, why is Bray in the match? Why is he supernatural? Supernatural stuff did kill him. That's when you realised this is it now. They've got to the point where they're trying to make him too much like Taker.
Yeah, I think that was the point. But the thing is, you know, the reason why Taker was so over is because he was protected. He just constantly won.
But they didn't.
They never messed about with his character. He was what he was. And people would have probably said the same about Taker. That supernatural shit is going to kill him. You won't ever get. But to a certain extent, you can kind of get away with it.
You can get away with it.
You've just got to feed him the right people.
You have got to feed him the right people.
Because I guarantee you, with this.
Basically, if you took the first bit of Bray Wyatt up to this point and did his exact same booking from Taker, from when he debuted up until when he come back, say, at SummerSlam 94 to fight himself, how much would...
Rest is mad.
But how much would Taker be bothered then? Because if you have him lose to Snooker and then have him lose to Jake at Mania, you know, having all these big feuds and then that's it.
He had to win. He had to
keep winning. Yeah. He was basically, you had your two belts, but that's what I always said. Bray should never have really been world champ. You had your world belt. It's like Andre. You had your world belt and you had your attraction.
Yeah.
That's it. Taker was the attraction. Bray could have been the attraction to the world belt. So you have two house shows. Here's your other one. If obviously the Inter's been devalued so much that, you know, fill it in with the attraction match.
I agree.
And just move him around a bit and don't have him appear every so often. So the Supernatural stuff did disappoint me. And I personally, even though I love Bray Wyatt, even at this point when I was listening to his promos, I was getting sick on him. It's like, just go away for a bit.
Yeah, he did need to.
And that's why it was good that he come back as with The Fiend and things like
even
that.
You're still talking, you know.
But even that got ruined.
Years for me.
Yeah, but it got ruined by it as well later on. We know what happened with that.
But so again, I always think you overexpose an attraction character like that anyway. That's the danger that they've got now because he's such a draw now.
Yeah.
And Triple H himself said that he's up in the ratings every time he's on the thing, which you get into that sort of habit to think, well, every week we must have a thing with Bray Wyatt. They're probably doing okay because it's all setting the scene at the moment.
Yeah.
But once you've done and told your story and you've got to the point where you know the players, you can't have him fighting on fucking SmackDown every week. It doesn't make any sense.
Once he start getting in the ring, that'll be the issue.
So obviously, I think that's why Taker and Andre at the time obviously Andre had the ability, he could just move around. Taker had the ability of, they only had like one or two shows and he wore on everyone. It's just the society that we're in and everything's on all these channels.
Did Bray Wyatt ever get sent out to break up a Brock Lesnar brawl? That's the moment you know you're dead.
Exactly.
When you know.
Yeah, it's
like him sent out to break up brawls.
Or was he ever on the top of the stage for a Christmas sing-along?
Oh God! Oh God, no, he won't. Thank God for that. If I'd have saw that, I'd have just gone. But I think that's why at the same time you do need these gimmicks, but at the same time you don't overexpose them, but you make them human.
Yeah.
As well, give them the human element, so at least then you've got a reason to pull them away a bit instead of just going, they pop the ratings, here they are. You need to be careful.
I agree. Well, talking about being careful, main event then is Dean Ambrose versus Roman Reigns. Roman enters through the crowd, which I'm not convinced is the right thing you should have been doing at the time, and
maybe Ambrose should have done it. People might have been a bit more receptive.
Well, exactly. We go pretty much straight into it. Big brawl to start as Roman goes Brock and launches Dean on a German. Roman ducks his head and eats a jab, but Dean basically bounces off Roman on a clothesline attempt. Dean is the underdog in the match and tells Roman to bring it before clotheslining himself and Roman to the outside, Cactus Jack style. Roman dominates outside though, throwing Dean into the railings, but Dean reverses being tossed back inside and clotheslines down Roman Reigns before hitting his suicide dive. There's a donkey drop kick from the top, and then 10 elbows, but Roman reverses this into a powerbomb on Dean out the corner. He then shows off his power by deadlifting Dean into a sit-out powerbomb. Dean barely survives the top rope Samoan drop attempt, but doesn't quite get his schoolboy off Brett's rope. Dean goes high for a standing elbow, but Roman hits a Superman punch, or I think it's a Superman punch. Was it a Superman punch? I couldn't remember whether it was a lariat. Hits his Superman punch. A second attempted Superman punch is reversed. Dirty Deeds is teased. Dean then hits a middle rope bounce back lariat. He's pissed that that's not enough to win it though. There's a big spear by Roman, but Dean survives. A second is blocked, and Roman is sent into the steel. Rolled up for a 2. The Dirty Deeds is now hit. He covers exactly the same way as he did against Kevin Owens, which is a good callback, but Roman kicks out this time. Nice spot as both men are sitting next to each other, just getting pissed off and punching fucking next to each other. I didn't quite like that bit. The aggression starts to be raised a little bit. There's a nice running knee by Dean Ambrose in the corner. Roman clubs Ambrose with corner clotheslines. Dean ducks one, lays in a clothesline. He sets him up for a charge, but as he runs towards him, Roman runs out the other corner, hits a spear. and wins the title. Yeah, Sam, thoughts on the match?
It was a good competitive match, and I think it was the right to. But at the same time, the way WWE was at this point, when you looked at the tournament as a whole, who did you think was going to be in the final? Two, really.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's good, but at the same time, so we knew that. Why did we even need the whole tournament?
It's good, but it's not the one.
Yeah,
it's good, but it's not right.
It's good, but it's not right. But there was so much more that could have done. I mean, imagine if they turned Ambrose heel.
Or Roman.
Or Roman with the authority and just, yeah.
There's just so much you could have done. I
think
think
you're not going to have Dean Ambrose as your main face.
Well, not make him heel then. I think that's the point. It's just, it's heatless, isn't it? It's the match is heatless. And I could think you could say that about 95% of this whole show. I think it was probably the best of the 3 tournament matches, but all of the tournament matches were pretty, like,
average.
There would have been real small margins between them. You know, there was just so average. There's no storylines, and therefore no one gives a shit about the belt. The belt doesn't elevate Roman. In fact, I think at this point, even though Roman is the main babyface, he actually devalues the belt, and that's a worry.
It took him a while before he became. I'm comfortable in this groove.
Well, they moved him. They got to the point where they just thought we're going to have to move him into the middle of the card.
You in SummerSlam.
Yeah, it's like we've got to shift him away from the main show, main belt, because he's actually devaluing the belt, and it's not through his fault.
No,
I think he tries hard with his creative.
He's got fucking contacts in here at this point.
Yeah,
for his blue eyes or whatever it is. Vince is just really missing the boat on what the fans want.
I think that's why a lot of people realise it's not Roman, it's Vince.
I don't think he was ready either.
No, he wasn't.
No, he weren't.
He should have been the silent arse kicker like he was in the Shield. That's why people liked him and wanted him to win the Rumble over Batista.
But I think that booking, I mean, obviously that booking was where he did all his eliminations. But Vince might have got confused there, because the only reason he got such a big reaction in that Rumble is not because that booking was right. We all knew at that point they're going to do this and they're going to get behind him. It was the fact that no one wanted Batista to win it.
Everybody wanted Bryan.
You know,
so if you had Bryan in the middle of it and have him eliminate,
he was years away. He was years away from where he is. Now look at him. I mean, he's a million miles away from this Roman record.
Yes.
Yeah.
Basically, but we was all saying turn him heel, and they wouldn't. When they finally did, he's like, "See, we told you."
I don't even think it is as simple as
not
turning him heel.
He was ready.
He was ready when he came back,
and he got more confident. He was the arse kicker. That's the thing. Instead of making him say suffering succotash, just make him like unbelievable. Like, I'm going to kick your ass.
A bit cool. You know, the Aquaman kind. You look at
think he understands what kids. I'm liking because the kids in playgrounds are calling each other cocksuckers and all this stuff. So they're going in the playground and talking, you know, like the all-American boys sort of thing.
This idea that the hero sort of guy is different nowadays.
Yeah.
And I think coolness is where people want, and this is what I'm saying. You've got this groove now with Roman. I don't think the creative is stupid enough to change it, but you can't change him. You've got to keep him in that sort of cool, run the show.
I'm the head of the family, the head of the table.
Because everyone loves him.
Come out to smile and be all this. He just be you.
Yeah, exactly.
His shades of grey.
And Dean Ambrose was the same, and I think that didn't help him, because he won his first title. This was his first world title against a character in Dean Ambrose, and I stand by it. The fans just do not give a shit about Dean Ambrose. And again, you see what they're doing in AEW. It's not because of Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose definitely can get over.
Yeah.
He is like the sort of beer swilling. He's a bit stone cold in many ways. But this... What the shit is a lunatic fringe? I don't quite get it.
No one knew what that was. But he's basically...
Got mad hair.
He might
mad eyes.
He might be a bit off. But at the same time, just make him in like he is now.
Yeah.
If you had, that's why
I think he's in the right company because I will give WWE an out in that they could never give him the license to be him because he is a fucking madman and wants to cut himself with fucking.
Well, there is that.
He wants
there
to
is
fight
that.
Nick Gage.
There is that, and it's like,
but you
maybe we need to rein you back.
The way I
But
see
make
it is
him
look at the Brock match, which I think is Suey fights at Mania.
Yeah, Mania.
Look at that. You know that was such a disappointing wet fart of a match because he's obviously said Brock didn't want to do anything, but you know Dean enough to know that he would have been able to work it in a WWF style or close to it. Look at what Edge and Foley did. It's like you can do it without it being the way that Nick Gage and fucking.
Why would Brock do it? Why would the character of Brock?
Yeah, I think that's the thing as well. You got to think
shouldn't have to.
WWE.
But he would though. Dean Ambrose should, in theory, look at this monster and think, right, I am going to throw every fucking thing at you in the world. Yeah. This is what I'm saying with the booking sometimes, and this is to bring it back to the podcast. The issue really with 2015 is I feel this is a perfect. This is as far away as they've been from their fan base. It feels so disconnected from the fans. I think it got slightly better the next couple of years when he tried to experiment with the brand split, Finn Balor coming in, AJ, these things. And he tried to experiment embracing the indie thing.
He had more skill.
But I think even he lost a bit of confidence in certain people, and then there was another move to move back to that. Obviously,
2018-19 with Constable Corbin.
Yeah. But I think then we're in a natural sort of progressive part now where you feel the fan base feels that being heard a little bit better
because Triple H had NXT and he understood it, and I think that's why people give him a bit more leeway. Again, he's somebody who understands. He gets the old and the new. He's sort of in the middle, whereas Vince was completely old. It's like, I booked Hogan, it worked, therefore it's going to work now.
I think people do give Vince a slight bit of discredit because Vince also booked Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
Vince also booked the Rock and John Cena, who got over, and he had a hand in the start of Roman Reigns being the character he is. It isn't that Triple H has just come in and all of a sudden everything is better.
I get that.
But I think the biggest issue is just where everyone else was and the booking of everyone else.
That's the thing. I think because at the time when he started with Hogan, he didn't really need everybody else, and in a way, when you look at the Attitude Era. You've got Austin and Rock obviously come up second. You ain't really bothered about everybody else. That's why all the titles kept moving around in the mid card because you don't really pay attention at the time. Again, it's like Society. Yes, he kind of got it, but he was having other people tell him what it was. So Russo does get a little bit of credit, but at the same time, you need to calm down a bit, mate. Then go to WCW and ruin that. But, it's like when you look at 2000, 2001. It's like 2001. It's like 2001 when Austin turned heel. Was that Vince call? I know Austin tried it because he felt stale. But at the same time, it's like you shouldn't really do it.
I just think it's this period is probably as far away as it feels. It just feels, watching the whole show, the fact that the Wyatt family weren't really treated right. They didn't really quite get the introduction of Tyler Breeze right.
No.
The Charlotte Page thing, this should have been a big sort of almost, but not only that, it's almost like us saying, look, we've heard you, we're going to take the women serious. And then it kind of felt all about Flair, and then the match was a bit pants to the point where it was flat.
We'll give you more time, that's what you want, Tate.
The fans,
we ain't going to give you anything more in terms of meat.
The fans embrace the gimmick of Survivor Series and like to see a Survivor Series match. They give them a Survivor Series match, but never really feel committed to that. No. There's no real advancement of any storylines, and then your main event should end. We haven't actually finished the show yet with Roman. It finishes with Roman Reigns. So it just feels to me that they're so disconnected. Anyway, dastardly Triple H is out to offer his hand to Roman Reigns. Roman sort of doesn't really consider the handshake, but sort of looks at the belt for a while, then drops it and spears Triple H as the confetti falls. Sheamus is in from out of nowhere to hit a Brogue Kick and cashes in his Money in the Bank contract. Sheamus gets a 2 on his first Brogue Kick as Roman kicks out, which annoys me. He's such a trope now.
You have to, you have to kick out because it's like, oh fuck, he might not win, but he will definitely win because he'll just do it again now.
Roman gets up, he sort of dodges a Brogue Kick attempt and misses his own clothesline, but bounces straight into a second Brogue Kick. That's enough. All she wrote. Sheamus is the new champion. His theme plays. He hugs Triple H. The show goes off the air with, at the very least, a reactive crowd to a new champion in Sheamus. I'm not even going to ask your thoughts. Well, I will. Thoughts on that match?
Which match?
The Sheamus versus. Yeah.
A bit short. Probably went too long.
Yeah. Would you have done that?
No, I wouldn't have put a belt on him now.
Do you think that it was one where you could have...
You said at the time, if you're going to cash in with Sheamus, that's probably the best thing to do with him. I'm pretty sure you said that at the time, yeah.
At that point,
if
have him cash in and win.
Yeah, that's the best thing to do at the time.
Would you have potentially had him lose because he wasn't?
You'll find out later, but I mean,
that's a no.
Look at the booking of him from when he won the Money in the Bank, which he was shitting when he was going into the Money in the Bank. He did have a lot of steam, and then throughout this year, he's on pre-show on Hell in the Cell, I think, in a 6-man. So he ain't doing anything. Yeah, he ain't doing anything. So how can he go from, it's like the Sandow thing. How can he go from, I've won the Money in the Bank, I'm doing nothing, but I'm just going to win the belt, and it's going to mean something because I've got a case?
I think that they had to do it. I don't necessarily think
I don't think the problem is there is nobody on that roster full time who is ready to be the number one. The one who's probably the closest for me is Owens.
Yes.
And they are going to go.
He's only been there 3 months.
Roman, to me, you look at it, when Cena won the belt, when Roman won the belt, Cena was more ready than Roman was when Cena won his first world title.
Yeah.
It still took Cena a load of years to grow, but he was still he feels like he's ready.
He had to give him, and people got behind him.
The thing is, though, because
they got behind him as a heel to begin with, and then they turned him face. But even at the beginning, even when he won his belt, like when he went to Raw, the pop he had, people were sick of him. People got sick of him from when he fought Triple H at Mania 22, 2006.
I think it was the time. I think it was when he fought. They put him against Angle, who at the time was trying to force.
Watched him at Taboo Tuesday.
Well, I think they was just trying to force people to hate Angle and everywhere. At that point,
because Cena was beating huge stars,
Angle, Shawn, Jericho,
and that is
beating huge stars.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? And not only that, he'd had these sort of feuds with Brock, and they never felt like they was gonna.
Never won.
It was like, we are gonna until recently. He should have, should he or should they or did they recognise then that we weren't ready to beat a star of the level of Brock? Well, if you know that, they'll give him the fucking belt.
And then the issue becomes, well, if Eco beat Brock and then Brock's so much bigger than everyone else,
who's going to beat
You've got to build everyone else while Brock's, doing his 4 matches a year.
Which comes back to and then ironically, you can all bring this all back to the decision to get Brock to beat the Streak, because what you've actually done is you've put over a monster who is already big, larger than life. He takes the one sort of holy grail away from anyone else as a booking tool. Yeah, you could never use that again. If Roman was the one who did that, I guarantee his booking would have changed overnight.
I said he wanted to give it Roman, I think, especially at that Mania when he
left his hat.
Guys, that was too late. I mean, at that point,
was too late. He got like 30, 30 or he should have had a year off.
I'd have backed Thrasher to beat him at that Mania. That's that done. I think we've sort of done it to death, but thoughts as a very brief overview of what you thought of that show?
It felt like a really unimportant B show in my eyes, and that Survivor Series, it did become this where it really died for a few years.
Still there, don't you think?
It's still there.
Hopefully,
I think Triple H is trying because
it was very good. It was poor.
Yep.
So. It was at this point, it was the more important B show. They did try and do some. I think I watched a show. I think it was Wrestling with Regret because he reviewed the first show, and he did say it's like this is the what out of the 4 shows, this has been the most experimental that they've done out of it. They've had tournaments on it. They've had the Survivor Series matches. They've added Elimination Chamber to it. They've done everything to it. Vince wanted to get rid of it, but people think you can't get rid of it. And I agree, don't get rid of it. Now they're adding War Games to it. It's at this point, it's the most important B show. And I think
we can get rid of it because it's just going to be another pay-per-view with a different name.
Exactly.
It's still the same.
Well, it's still the same. Yeah, I know he's not massive on gimmicks, but the beauty of I always loved Survivor Series as a booking tool. Yeah. Because Hogan could lose to Andre without losing the belt, and it's these sort of things that you could do. You can lose. You can have your champ Triple H when he was in his sort of run of doom. He sort of lost every Survivor Series because what it does is spin out a couple of different feuds. Yeah. And in fairness to him, you could argue that they did that with the New Day and the Sheamus thing, but the problem was they instantly.
It's basically it kind of shows at the same time why, in a way, now stick to just 4 pay-per-views or premium live events, whatever you want to call them. Stick to 4 big shows. AEW does do that right, although they have like Battle of the Bells, Winter is Coming. But the big shows, WWE, because you got the network now. Yes, you've got the Saudi shows.
Saudi
Shandy
shows. Well, they have Shandy.
Saudi shows. Sure. Saudi shows. Yeah, okay, I've sprinkled them throughout the year, but basically say the big shows, Rumble, Mania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, that's it. Maybe I don't agree Money in the Bank. I would get rid of that and put that match at Mania again.
I think I've thought about doing that, but I think it's just too big.
It's too big now, because I think even, what's his face? Jolly Old Saint Nick, as MJF calls him, even said on an interview, he's basically the big 5.
Yeah.
But I think it's better to.
Anyway,
it is sensible, but again, old school me, King of the Ring. Just make it like that and lead that to SummerSlam. Because then you got Rumble to lead to Mania, King of the Ring to lead to SummerSlam. Because to be honest, what's really big about SummerSlam? It's in the summer. That's it. Really, what's big about it?
It feels like a big pay-per-view.
It does feel like a big pay-per-view, but at the same time, you need something to build to it. Have the King of the Ring winner.
For you don't watch it anyway.
Well, I don't know.
Read results.
But at the same time, it's like maybe do that kind of thing, and then Survivor Series do something like that to maybe build to Rumble. Have somebody win something to be the number 1 contender at Rumble. Because Rumble title matches don't really mean anything, do they? The whole thing about the Rumble is the Rumble match. But if you've got Rumble title match...
You know what I think? I think the problem is that there is a place...
them all together.
I think there is a place for a tournament pay-per-view, but if you... The problem with... It's all the visual things. It's like everything's so literal. King of the Ring has to be a literal king. It doesn't have to be that. It's never had to be that. But for whatever reason, they go through these spells where, like, it works for Woods. Woods would naturally go, well, I'm now a king.
He always wanted to.
And some of them it works for, but then others, you've just got to make sure you do it. So I think the problem with King of the Ring is it's got that sort of bad taste in people's mouths because we remember the sort of forced king gimmicks that didn't really work and killed characters.
But not everyone happened. I think... certain gimmicks work with it, like Owen Hart could do it, King of Hearts. Angle could get away with it with the...
How have we got to here?
No, but this is why I'm saying Survivor Series, I like Survivor Series. This is one where it does piss me off. And the Raw v SmackDown, I get it in 2016. They tried something else, but at the same time, they went with it too much, so it gets to November. I hate you, but at the same time, we both wear blue.
Can you ever remember a time you've watched wrestling much more frequently than us since the brand split, especially? Do you remember a time? I know you watch everything, But do you remember a time where you ever felt invested? No, but I mean, you'll watch Raw and SmackDown. So it isn't like you go, I'm only going to watch Raw, I'm only going to watch SmackDown.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember a time where you felt there was ever a real reason to have Raw versus SmackDown?
No.
A real reason?
There's never, ever, maybe from the first time they did the split early on, with JBL, when you did have specific characters that was always SmackDown and you felt like they were SmackDown, Taker, even though he couldn't be on it, Ray, Batista, JBL. But there ain't now, especially now, because they do the draft. They used to do the draft like in October. So by the time we got to Survivor Series, 3 people who were pro Raw 2 months ago was on SmackDown.
And do you think that as well?
Do they care?
And that's the point. I always think if you're going to have I don't think that they should have a brand split now, and I think it's kind of calming it down a little bit. But because the roster's not deep enough. No. But 2, if you are, I think the forced draft show every year bugs me. I don't think it should be every year. It should be when you feel you need to freshen it up. And if that's 3 years, do it. What does it matter? Because like you say, JBL was Mr. SmackDown forever because he never moved to Raw forever and ever.
Like Ray and these sort of people.
Until I think the only time he moved to Raw was after he...
with 08. But it's...
After he left in 07, and then he moved in 08 after not wrestling.
Which is fine, that's SmackDown expression. That's what I mean. I don't mind that. But the concept of Survivor Series is massively watered down, and you can see that, like Jack says, it's treated as a B show. This whole event is treated. It's basically treated as a birthday bash for Undertaker, isn't it? Really.
Well, all it is Taker's on it, and we need to put the belt on somebody for the future pay-per-views, basically.
So, nearly hitting the 2-hour mark. Match of the run, match of the night. Sorry, Jack.
God. The Ray one is the really. I'm going to go with Owen versus Ambrose.
I'm going to go with Sheamus versus Roman at the end because it's
rightly
on
the show.
We're finished.
It's a segment.
It's the only thing that I thought they didn't do wrong.
Well, it did. He kicked out.
Well, actually, that's true. So
they did too.
I'm going to go with Ambrose Owens.
Yeah.
Worst match of the night.
God, can we go all? I'm going to go with Taker and Kane versus the Wyatts because I think you really hurt the Wyatts a lot.
If you'd have said the one I'm saying, I would have said that just because I think both of them need to do it. Because it's not that they did anything wrong, but Charlotte and Paige is the whole booking of that bothered me to the point where it was just as bad as the booking of the Taker and Kane Wyatt match.
I'm going to go Breeze Ziggler because it was just unnecessary.
I think most of them could win it.
Yeah, most.
Even the ones we chose to be the best.
I think the MVP might be fairly similar. MVP.
God, the Ray one.
Definitely.
Lillian. I'm going to go Kevin Owens.
I'm going New Day all day, every day.
That's only the New Day.
Yeah, I'd probably go New Day actually from.
LVP. Now, Christ, line them up. Who comes out worst?
I'm going to go Bray Wyatt.
I'm going to go Roman Reigns.
I'm going to get Sheamus.
It's fucking mental, man, isn't
it? Yeah, but look what he did.
I know.
It's reasonable. It's reasonable.
Why don't you just dominate and win the match at the end? Even though his partner's left, win the match at the end.
Right then, let's try and keep it under 2 hours with our rebookings. Jack, to keep us on track, I think I'm going to open up with you.
Right, match 1 is a traditional Survivor Series match. It's Sheamus, an old scamp, Rusev.
Was Rusev debuted?
Yeah, he was on the show the year before, on the month before, on the pre-show. Wade Barrett, or King Barrett, The Miz, and Bo Dallas versus Neville, Cesaro, who's nowhere to be seen, Jack Swagger, who's nowhere to be seen, Ryback, and they're having a mystery partner. They can take out Titus if you want, and then there's a mystery partner which is going to be the Big Show.
The Big Show!
And the faces are going to win to kick off. Nice, happy, clean sweep? Oh, I don't know. Probably because, why not? Bloody faces, are they? So they can get away with it. Match 2 Becky Lynch v Sasha Banks. It was all the teams of 3 fighting each other, and they had a little bit of a heat. They were TCB, I think. Sasha. No, they were Team Bad. Sasha, Naomi, and Tamina.
I vaguely remember.
I tried to do a.
So just sort of went, here's three of them, here's the Bellas.
But they was sort of in the feud with responsible for the turn of Paige. So Becky's going to fight Sasha, get another women's match on. Sasha's going to win.
Yep.
Match 3 is the traditional Survivor Series match, 6-on-6. It's teams. You're going to like one team. It was a team. Don't fight me. The Dudleys, the Usos, and the Lucha Dragons versus the New Day. Only 2 members can fight. So Woods is going to be on the outside with John Bone. The Ascension, and I had to find another team. There weren't very many. These were a team. One bloke gets sacked 3 days later. It is Adam Rose and Brad Maddox.
Shit, me.
They were a team. Brad Maddox gets fired 3 days later.
Oh, for saying cocky pricks on a dark
Well,
side.
the reason I like them is because I am going to have the faces win, because these Rose, Maddox, and the Ascension can get sort of blitzed pretty quick. And then you got the New Day, and it does at TLC they have a triple threat TLC ladder match, a triple threat ladder match for the belts anyway. But
well, it means the New Day can lose that.
The New Day can lose with that, and there's a reason for them losing. And you've got comedy shit. Match number 4: Dolph Ziggler versus the debuting Tyler Breeze. Tyler Breeze would have had video packages, promo packages leading up to this, and he debuts on this event.
Yeah.
Wins. Match number 5 is Paige versus Charlotte for the Divas title. Paige would win by disqualification because Charlotte's emotions get the better of her. We have a TLC pay-per-view coming up which needs a stipulation, so there's a reason for Charlotte to now be able to unleash her anger using chairs and tables and ladders, oh my. And then match number 6 is the Brothers of Destruction versus the Wyatt family. I don't know whether I would put Bray in the match. I might put it as Rowan and Harper. At least there's an out for Bray. And you can revisit Bray versus Undertaker later. Or you can shoot a lightning bolt from the outside. If you like that, well, he's got the power now, eh? I got the power. Match number 7, which is the main event. Or is it? Match number 7 is the WWE title match. Now, Roman has to be in the title match because he won a number 1 contenders match.
Yeah.
So he's already got the contract to be in it, which means the Authority can't take him out of it. Gives me a reason to put him in it, seeing this as a face. So it's going to be a fatal 4-way. Now, I don't want to put him in it, but I've got to put him in it because they're the most over heels, which are Del Rio, even though he's US, Kevin Owens, even though he's Inter, and Dean Ambrose is going in there because he's his friend, and if you want to beat the champion, you're going to have to beat your friend, and can you trust your friend? And he's going to, in the weeks leading up, Triple H is going to court Ambrose like, look, I'm giving you this opportunity, blah, 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 and all that shit, play each other off against each other. Oh, fucking hell. Roman's going to win. And then, so Roman wins the belt. Ambrose is like, still up next time, motherfucker. And then Sheamus is going to cash in.
Yeah.
He's going to fail. So that's match 8. Then, proper main event, and I'm going full on, fuck this, it's wrestling, I'm doing what I want. Triple H is coming out, cashing in his I run the fucking show, I'm doing what I want. I'm going to pedigree Roman, I'm going to pin him, and I'm going to be the fucking champion.
Jesus Christ.
Why not? He's the only one with any bloody star power. Put the belt on Triple H. He's the champion. He wins it at Rumble. Just fucking have him win it here.
Do it here.
And he's going to keep it until...
sacrificing a whole...
A whole match.
Well, there's a reason, and then he's going to be champion until Mania, probably.
I hated that booking, but yeah, that's fine.
Fuck you.
It's fine by me.
We wouldn't be reviewing that.
No, definitely not. My match would... I have bastardised Survivor Series. Pre-show, New Day, Stardust, and Tyler Breeze, all 3 members of the New Day, versus the Usos, Lucha Dragons, and Goldust. Tyler Breeze, Survivor. New Day lose to one of the 2, so you can spin off.
Goldust comes back and then he loses.
Yeah. Well, I can have them sort of...
Welcome back!
Blood
Here's
feud.
a loss.
Blood feud. The fight off into the cosmos.
Paint feud.
I am doing Deadly Games 2.
I knew he would.
That's to me. I just think there's no heat, there's no storylines. I can't create anything. There's nothing going on. So I'm going to do a big old tournament. But I'm only going to do 8 because 16's a bit too much. He's probably done 16.
I have done 16, but mine makes sense.
Yeah, King Barrett beats Dolph in the opener. Kevin Owens beats Ryback in the second match. Neville beats Miz in the third match. Dean Ambrose and Roman, so he's instantly fucked him over because he's put him fighting his mate. Roman wins, Dean Ambrose turns heel. That's what I would do. I'm standing by that.
No Del Rio in the tournament.
No, I haven't even booked Del Rio. I feel sorry for Del Rio now, but fuck him.
I feel sorry, but we dropped people kids.
Yeah. Charlotte versus Paige. Charlotte beats the living shit out of Paige because she's fucking pissed off that she brought up her dead brother.
Yeah.
I'd even contemplate a bit of sort of like bloody mouth, sort of, not blade, but like beat the living shit. Really make it so that women are now at the same level as men.
Yeah.
King Barrett versus Neville. I put Tyler Breeze and Francis for some reason. I must have meant King Barrett and Francis. Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens. Roman wins. Kevin Owens is a bad fucker, so he just beats the living shit out of Roman. And Triple H comes out and says, well, you've got to fight your match now. So King Barrett comes out thinking he's got a nice, easy win. Roman wins, but Swerve, Sheamus is here. He's going to cash in. No Triple H. He's just the nice cash in. And all that Deadly Games didn't matter because Sheamus just won it anyway. And main event is Kane and Taker versus the Wyatts. It's a traditional Survivor Series match, as the Dudley Boys have been taken out on Raw, who were going to be the partners of the Brothers of Destruction. I
was going to ask Sting.
I did think of Sting, but I thought he was dead. I thought his head fell off.
Fell off.
So Kane and Undertaker have to go it alone. Kane instantly is taken out, so Undertaker.
Why are Kane and Taker friends with the Dudleys?
Well, I'm faces out there.
Old school attitude.
25 years of diva.
Old school attitude era, and as Taker said, there were men then that brought guns into the locker room instead of.
You should have had the Godwins replace them.
Yeah, I did think about how I could bring in. But I thought, well, I could get Quiche, but I can't have fucking
Godfather.
I could have maybe, but that would have. It just takes the heat away from what I'm trying to build here, because ultimately Kane goes out early, Braun beats him. Braun gets a bit fucking mental, gets himself DQ. Kane then runs through everyone apart from Bray. Taker goes through everyone apart from Bray. Bray manages to win, leaves. The whole show has Taker now retired on his 25th thing because he's been left out. Bray Wyatt's been really put over as the top star.
Does he?
And at the very least, someone's fucking going over on this show.
Does he shoot a lightning bolt for it?
I could do without the fire.
He's got his powers now.
Yeah, he's got his gloves.
Does he do crap a lash?
He comes out next show. He comes out with purple gloves, chewing tobacco,
and he founds Midian
on a bike. It's all very confusing. He's got everything, and he's married to Sarah for some reason.
Sam's now next. You've got a 16-match card, and you've still got Taker.
Well, I've got a 16-man tournament and 3 other matches.
Say you've got 18
matches.
Shut your face. Right. Okay, so let's get rid of the other matches.
Yeah.
Okay, so Divas title match, because we gotta get the women, because we're pushing the women. Paige v Charlotte, I would probably have Charlotte just come out, beat her up. Yeah. You can make it a no contest, whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
Just get rid of that.
We all agree.
That's how fact. Tag titles, New Day v the Usos. You can have the New Day be heels, even though they ain't, but at the same time you can, because you can have one of them distract and do a quick roll up. Obviously, a lot of these matches are going to be short, but there's a reason. Again, basically, I'm trying to do a Russo and book some Survivor Series 98 in 2015 with these stories.
Yes.
Right, the other match is Taker and Kane v Wyatt and Harper. The Wyatts. What I was saying they always should do not have Kane and Taker appear on a UK Raw. They've abducted him, he's took the powers, he's got his axe, he's got his match.
Got his hat now.
That's basically what he said. I've got all the powers. Okay.
But stole Macho Man's
You
hat.
can do this.
Is that where the powers come from? The clothes?
Well, I don't know. That's right. He did it. You can have the pyro and whatever, and so when coming back 25th anniversary Taker.
Mm-hmm.
I would have Taker come out in his grey, his first basically. You've stole
me clothes.
Basically, you say you've stole the powers, but I'm going back to the beginning and have Kane again go back to his old attire with the mask, with the whole thing. Basically, them how there was at the beginning, and you can have them demolish the whites in that way, saying these are the true Taker and Kane.
These old bastards.
Not Rick Mail and the mayor of Notts County.
Yeah.
Basically, do it that way, even for one-off.
Could you have Brian
I
Lee?
mean, Taker come out at Mania 13 against Sid. Do it here. It makes a bit more sense with 25th anniversary. And you could, if you're going to incorporate Kane with it, have him do the same, because you stole his mask with the hair on it. Do the same there. So that would probably close the show. So then the non-tournament
you don't have a
matches.
tournament that don't end the show.
I didn't
have to take it. But I mean, he's got 16.
Well, you can probably do that. Although the way I put the tournament, you could
It's all in the pre-show.
Okay.
There's only them three. They're my our matches.
Sure. 16-man tournament.
Here we go.
First round, Ambrose beats Dolph.
Yeah.
Fine. Barrett beats Neville.
Yeah.
Fine. Owens can destroy Sin Cara.
Yeah.
I initially put Breeze, but the way we was talking, I thought, hang on, we need somebody.
Yeah.
Sin Cara, whatever, because he's an IC champ. Now, the next one, Sami Zayn would debut on this instead of in the US title. Have him debut here and beat Del Rio. So the next round, you've got Owens v Zayn in the next round. Second half of the tournament, Reigns beats Miz. No. I don't think he's done.
He's done the US, because Cena ain't US anymore.
Well,
don't stop him. We're 2 hours in.
Yeah, exactly. Brought him back. Okay. Reigns beats Miz. Sheamus beats Kalisto. Stardust fights a returning Goldust.
Yeah.
That actually ends in a no contest, so there's a bye.
Yeah.
For Cesaro, who beats Ryback. And I had to piss off Ryback because Cesaro gets to the semis. Now, when it comes, in the quarters, you got Ambrose Barrett. Ambrose beat Barrett. Owens and Zayn. Owens would cheat to beat Zayn. So obviously you can carry on that feud because fight forever and all this shit. Reigns would beat Sheamus. Now Cesaro, because he got a bye, Triple H would be shown backstage talking to him to say, if you win, come to us. We'll,
We'll look after you.
We'll look at that kind of thing. Bring it in, and Cesaro would be like, okay, I'll do this.
Think about it.
Semi-finals. Ambrose would beat Owens. Cesaro would beat Reigns because of help with Triple H. However, in the finals, Triple H would help Ambrose, not basically doing the Mankind thing with Rock. So it's basically Ambrose was the one that they wanted all along, and he's the one that's saying, "Well, I saw what happened with Seth. I want it."
Yeah.
And we all know you're the one that they wanted Reigns.
Yeah.
So he's like trying to make, because you ain't got Seth, make Reigns and Ambrose the feud, and then you got Cesaro who they've manipulated.
So you've got the
other baby face. So build people up for fuck's sake. So it's basically trying to do similar to '98 but cleaner and making more sense.
Did you not book Del Rio?
Yeah, he lost to Sami Zayn in the first round because I wanted Sami Zayn to have a big pop
in his sling.
Yeah, in his sling, even in his sling. Basically saying I won in the tournament. You can do that with him and Owens.
He ain't going to fight in the sling.
Spin off a lot of
whole body.
I'll suspend for disbelief that it's not in.
I nearly put Owens and Zayn as a no contest, but then I thought, well, Ambrose will get to the final. And it's like, I don't want to make it too obvious. Because that's what happened with Rock. He had to fight through, even though he was the one. Do the same thing, because obviously
do the boss man.
When Seth lost the belt, and they said I'm going to do a tournament, that's what everybody thought. This would be the same. Play into the smarks and do it that way.
That's okay. Take a breath.
It's a good booking, so well done.
So that's their one book, Ambrose, and you got Ambrose and Reigns then.
At least you've thought about this one.
Well, you got Ambrose and Cesaro, haven't you?
No, But yeah,
Well, you've got three. You've got three. You've got a whole.
Yeah.
He's released.
You just want to shit on everything I do, don't you?
I think
I just think that if coming out of it, Cesaro would be the face.
Well, you're doing exactly what you had. You're doing exactly what you did with Deadly Games anyway, because you had Austin, Rock, and Mankind. So,
and that was going to be the triple threat until Sean pissed off. But you could do that at Mania, have the triple threat, like Cesaro saying you manipulated me. Reigns got screwed out in the semis.
So what's happening at TLC?
Jesus Christ. If you liked our rebooking or had a different idea of how you would have rebooked some Survivor Series 2015, let us know. Let us know on our website, which is bettercallcreative.com, our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/BCC pod, or our Twitter, which is @BCC pod. We round out this episode, as we always do, with a fantasy card, and we wanted to celebrate the true form of Survivor Series from Survivor Series past. So we challenged each other to take 6 matches, all Survivor Series, featuring teams from Survivor Series past, but trying only to use one team per Survivor Series, and putting them against each other.
Oh, one team per year. So you can only use one team per year.
Yeah, but if you haven't at this point...
No, I haven't.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Now, stop sorting out.
So yes, we've tried to take Survivor Series teams from the past and put them into a fantasy card. As Sam rounded out our rebooking, I'll open with Sam for his match.
Right, my first match is the last one I booked, and fuck it, I tried to keep it like 4-on-4, 5-on-5.
Yeah, so did I.
So I've got, but this one didn't work. So sorry, it's Clowns R Us, which is Dog, Dink, Wink and Pink. Versus Andre's team from '87, which is Andre, Bundy, One Man Gang, Butch Reed and Rick Rude.
Just have Stink, another midget.
Yeah, why? Stink. There you go. Or Lawler. Why not?
Well, dare I ask who's going over?
Yeah, it's got to be Andre's team because he probably eat them all.
My match one is the Nation of Domination, which was Rock, Comet, D'Lo and Farouk. I believe that was from 98. No, 97. Must have been 97.
Rock, D'Lo.
Was it Godfather and
Comet? I think it might have been Farouk actually from 97.
Well, it's some of them anyway. Versus.
I don't know if Mark Henry.
You write it down.
I just put the Nation of Domination.
The teams I'm going to think about.
I got team now, got names.
Well, I have got the rest of them written down. Versus Marty Jannetty, 1-2-3 Kid, Randy Savage, subbing for Mr. Perfect,
yes,
and Razor Ramon, because I even tried to make sure I only used one person.
I've only used them once.
Yeah, which was hard.
Oh,
and I'm putting over the Nation Domination. Why not?
Match 1 from Survivor Series 1990. It's Sergeant Slaughter, Boris Zukov and the Orient Express.
Lovely.
Versus from Survivor Series 1991. We know where this is going. Colonel Mustafa, the Berserker, Skinner and Hercules.
Ironically, Sergeant Slaughter fought them at 91 as well. So.
And Boris Zukov was sub for Akeem.
There you go.
Well, that's ironic. And the team of Mustafa, Berserker, Skinner and Herc will win because Herc, my boy.
Well, are we having Soul Survivor or are we going...
Herc, Soul Survivor. And we're going to do a Survivor match at the end.
Oh, God.
Jesus Christ. Right, my next match is Piper's team from Survivor Series 91, which is Piper, Virgil, Bulldog and Brett.
Yes.
Versus Triple H's team, I think it was his team, from 04, which is Triple H, Batista, Snitsky and Edge. And I'm going to put over Piper's team with all but Virgil surviving.
Yeah, Snitsky eliminates Virgil, definitely. I can see it in my own
It's
mind.
similar to the Maven thing.
It's horrible.
No, I don't mind Virgil, but no.
Match 2, the Dudley Boys and the Hardy Boys, which did happen at, I want to say, Survivor Series 2000, maybe.
Dudley Boys and...
The Hardy Boys. I think they fought Right to Censor and someone else, from memory.
I think it was Edge and Too Cool for some reason. 2000.
We'll go with that. Versus the Natural Disasters and the Nasty Boys, who definitely fought together at Survivor 92. We watched it. Yeah. And I'm going to put over the Natural Disasters.
Just the Natural Disasters.
Yeah. Or Typhoon and Knobs.
Well, both. I would do it like they did in that, where it was like tags eliminated.
Oh, yeah. Quake and Sags.
Match 2 from Survivor Series 2019. It's Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Candice LeRae, Io Shirai, and Toni Storm.
Yes.
Versus from Survivor Series 2016, Becky Lynch, Alexa Bliss, Carmella, Naomi, and Natalya.
Nice.
Team NXT shall win. Bianca can be the sole survivor.
My next match is Team Eddie Guerrero from 2004. This is why when you said we've got to use one team per year, fuck that. This was the very last thing I did after I did 2 shows. So you get what you get.
We all watched 2 shows.
Shut your face. It's Eddie, Cena, Ray had been replaced by Cena. Eddie, Cena, RVD and Big Show versus Team Mustafa. Because we got to put them in because they won the tournament for us.
I didn't get it. But...
Colonel Mustafa, Berserker, Skinner, and Herc. You know what? Just to piss off everyone, Mustafa has a clean sweep.
Good. It should have been Berserker, but I get it. My next match, I have dropped a bollock here because I'm saying that Farouk wasn't in the first match. I'm hoping he wasn't because he's in my next match, but he's not as Farouk. He's Ron Simmons. It's Ron Simmons, Dusty Rhodes, Ric Flair, and the Sarge. Which happened in about 07, 06, something like that.
Yeah.
When they fought the Spirit Squad. Versus the most amazing of Survivor Series team, which I hope appears on both of your cards, which is Gangrel, Mark Henry, Steve Blackman, and Val Venis.
Oh, that random one against Volta.
Lois, we pumped these out of a bucket, and I'm going to put over Gangrel.
99.
Just going to put over Gangrel. Yeah, him and Sarge is the final 2, but Gangrel.
Yeah. How does that... Anyway,
Match 3 from 2007. It's Umaga, Finlay, Big Daddy V, Ken Kennedy, and MVP. Versus from 1988, I think. Mm-hmm. It's Jake Roberts, Jim Duggan, Scott Casey, Ken Patera, and Tito Santana.
I love the fact that Brad Maddox got a payday off you on your rebooking, and you've given Scott Casey.
Scott Casey, I like Scott.
Scott Casey was a sub for a sub.
Yeah, I've watched a lot of Scott. I'm going to put over
Scott.
Don't you dare put over Scott.
I'm going to have the survivors of Jake Roberts, Jim Duggan, and Ken Patera.
Oh, not Tito.
Can you have Ken Patera take out Big Daddy V, though?
Yeah, he's slamming.
with a brick.
It's the strongest man in the world.
You get sent to prison for 2 years.
Million.
Right.
Amazing.
My next match is Team Raw from 2005, which, I gotta think about this now. Oh, fuck, I forgot.
Jesus
no,
Christ,
it's Shawn, Carlito, Masters, Kane, and Big Show versus Team Raw from 2016, which was Roman, Seth, Braun, and I forgot the other 2. Not Owens and Jericho. That's it. And I would put over Team Raw 2005. You wait for the next match.
Jesus Christ. Next one is a 50-team. My match for is Cena, Bobby Lashley, Kane, Rob Van Dam, and Sabu versus Team Andre from 87, which was from 89, I think. Andre, Rude, Dino Bravo, Mr. Perfect, and Harley Race.
88.
Might have been 88.
88.
Because that really, look at the star power on that. Cena, Bobby, Kane, RVD, Sabu, Andre, Rick Rude, Dino Bravo, Mr. Perfect, and Harley Race. Tell me who's the odd one now.
I've completely lost because I ran through that.
Dino Bravo was never a world champion.
Yeah, Dino's the last one.
He was big in
But
Canada.
he survived.
Did he?
No,
he
was
was him and Perfect.
He didn't survive that.
Him and Perfect was the 2.
I always feel I'm going to make it my mission that if Andre is in a match on my fantasy cards, he wins because he's Andre. So Andre wins.
Match 4, Gangrel, Mark Henry, Steve Blackman, and Val Venis.
You didn't let me down.
Versus from 1993, Brett, Owen, Bruce, and Keith.
Oh, yes!
Is it Bruce? Because he won't jump.
The Hearts are all going to survive, and Bruce is going to clean sweep because he's going to go rogue.
Not tag out at all.
To be honest, if you watch that show, he does go rogue a few times. He comes in and breaks up a pin when he shouldn't.
He's a man.
Okay, right. Next match. It's Team SmackDown from 2005, which was Orton, Batista, Lashley, JBL, and Ray versus SmackDown from 2016. You can tell how much I care about this. Which was Bray, Shane. Oh God, it was Shane. Oh,
Sweat.
Ambrose. Who was the other two now? Roman was on the other show. Well, the other two. And it's Orton and whoever. And team 2005 is going to win anyway.
Was it not Bray?
I said Bray. Bray, because they had, what's his name?
Remember when Bray Wyatt really cared about the brand he was on?
Because it was, you had James Ellsworth with the chin and they did the promo. Jericho said, we've got a lost child here. Chintz McMahon. Where's Chintz? But yeah, Team SmackDown 05 because I can remember it wins.
My sub-main event is the Team Monsters. It's Umaga, Biggie Duet, Biggie Dadby, Finlay, Mr. Kennedy, and MVP versus Brock Lesnar, A-Train, Big Show, Matt Morgan, and Nathan Jones.
I was going to put them on myself.
Payday. Got some payday, Nathan Jones. There you go. And I'm going to put over.
You paid Matt Morgan. How dare you?
Nah, Brock's got to win it.
What was the year with the Morgan one?
That was 7.
07.
Match 5, New Day, Barrett and Sheamus. Got something from this one. Versus from 2012. What a fucking team. Brodus Clay, Sin Cara, Tyson Kidd, Justin Gabriel, and what are you doing here, Rey Mysterio?
You deserve better than this.
Ray's going to win.
Ray wasn't the captain.
No, I think Brodus was a captain. Ray was in the team with Sin Cara, wasn't it? This
where they had the arm
and Tensai.
Well, I think Tensai, but Gabriel's in it. Tensai, ain't he? Tensai, it's Brodus, Justin Gabriel, Tyson.
Tensai come back yet.
Oh yeah, they might have fought.
Yeah, Tensai. Obviously, Tensai and change.
I'll wear a dress now.
We'll be back for that.
Right, my main event.
Back for you, Lord.
My main event because it's always got to be. It's the Hulkamaniacs from 1990.
Yes.
So it's Hogan, Tugboat, Bossman, and Duggan, because we've got to add Duggan, versus Team Flair from 91, which is Flair, Warlord, DiBiase, and Mountie, which probably could have happened around that time. And Hogan's got to go over because Hogan was posed.
Well, Hogan hasn't even appeared in mine. My main event is the indie classic of CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, William Regal, and Ted DiBiase, not that one, versus Diesel, Jeff Jarrett, who obviously all the AEW fans love, Jim Neidhart, Shawn Michaels, and Owen Hart. I think that was 94's team.
94, the Teamsters.
And I'm going to put over Punk, because if I don't, he'll just, throw his dog at me or something.
What did I ever do? Some empty-headed fuck like Ben Chen did not put me over on this Survivor Series card.
That's it, Punk's going for us.
Main event, Team WWF from 2001. It's Rock, Taker, Kane, Jericho, and the Big Show versus not Team Alliance, but might as well be from our three, apart from one person: Booker T, the Dudleys, RVD, and Shawn. And
that was Team Austin.
Rock wins.
I thought you was actually going to put the Alliance from.
No, I couldn't say me.
No. Who did you have from that then? Sorry, what was your main event?
Team WWF, which is Rock, Taker, Kane, Jericho, and Show versus it might as well be the Alliance. Booker T, the Dudleys, RVD. And then Sean's here as well.
For my head, I just thought you just booked your best ever fantasy.
More Alliance than fucking Austin, Angle, Shane. Jesus Christ.
Better Alliance. But there you have it, folks. If you feel that we have missed, and there is many teams from Survivor Series past that should have made it into our fantasy cards, let us know now on our Twitter page, which is @BCCPod, on our website, which is bettercallcreative.com, or our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/BCCPod. That completes our Survivor Series episode for 2022, but we will no doubt be back next year to check out another Survivor Series from Survivor Series past. We also want to pass on our thanks for our episode sponsor, which is popgear.com. Head over to popgear.com now to subscribe for your mystery box and purchase from their wide range of t-shirts and merchandise that is available there. We are enjoying our merchandise as we speak. Yes, but there you have it, folks. We will be back in December, though. It is a Starrcade special in December. We're checking out the Black Scorpion storyline from 1990, I think it was, and we are checking out the greatest main event in Starrcade history, which is The Butcher versus Hulk Hogan. But we will also be deciding whether that is the worst Starrcade main event, because I have decided we're going to be doing the Wrestle Cup for worst Starrcade main event, just so I can get out of it then. So yes, we'll be doing a Wrestle Cup, and there will be some good because I can't avoid it, but there will be plenty of bad as we decide which is the worst. We might indeed, but yes, check back in the merry month of December for Starrcade joy. That leads me to say from one half of the Brothers of Destruction, it is Jack Chan.
Goodbye.
And from the other half, Sam Chan.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, folks.